Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Manchester United versus West Ham United US Tour preview watch along live with me, Mark Goldbridge, on the United Stand. We could just have a little bit of a circle going round there, couldn't we? But excited for this? Yes, I am. Saturday night dance. I like the way you move, as Wigfield once sang. And I am very, very much looking forward to this. I must say I have dropped a little bit of a clanger already because I was watching Everton-Bournemouth first half and I thought more like Everton versus Bournemouth. It was rubbish. So I went and watched an episode of Industry, which is it's got a lot of sex in it. Well, that's not why I watch it. And it's just, I like the storylines. Anyway, I've come back and it's 3-0 to Bournemouth. I had tweeted that it should be quite straightforward for Man United on tour to beat all these teams. So Bournemouth have looked good apparently. So yeah, let's see what happens. But apologies for not doing the 8 o'clock show. That was just a miscommunication. I did say last night I probably wouldn't do an 8 o'clock, and then I was going out for some food, which I'll tell you about in a moment, and I set the 8 o'clock stream up, which was stupid because I knew I was never going to do it. So there is stuff to cover. But I obviously will get into that. People are saying, "Where's Mbumo?" I don't know. I've seen about as much as you here, so I don't know. He's not in the squad. We may as well all bloody go home then. Not in the squad. Lineup is just come out in the last 4 minutes. Bienda is in goal. Delit, Heaven. You know what? I'm not going to get stressed tonight. It's going to be an enjoyable night. I saw Everton do this earlier. Why, for the love of God, why do admins of major football clubs list the team in shirt number chronological order? You should be sacked. If I was Sir Jim Radcliffe, I would sack whoever's put that out. What point is there in putting team news out in chronological shirt number order? I mean, is De Ligt playing at right back with Bruno and Rasmus at centre back and Cunha at left back? No. Bloody stupid. I've got to try and figure this out now. So Bienda's in goal. De Ligt's a defender. Dorgu's a defender. Yoro's a defender. I don't know what we're doing here. I can't figure this team out. I can't figure it out. Heaven, De Ligt and Yoro are centre-backs. Dorgu's left wing-back. Ahmad's right wing-back. Bruno and Agate, midfield. Mainu, Cunha, and then Rasmus up front. Yeah, I think I figured it out. Mbumo not in the squad at all. That's a big shame, that is. Heaton, Delo, Fredrickson, Leon, Maguire, Munro, Shaw, Casemiro, Collier, Fletcher, Kone, Mount, Mantatu, Obi, and Williams. So, yeah, that's a major disappointment, isn't it? Let's be honest. Not going to lie. Look, I'm not going to turn it off and not watch it, but it's a major disappointment that no Mbumo in the squad at all. Gibbs White's just signed a new contract at Forest as well. Deal off with Spurs. I mean, that's got nothing to do with us. Look, honestly, I would say that Mbumo is not in the squad because he's probably not up to speed fitness-wise, I would imagine. I mean, that's the only logical thing I can think of. He's probably not had enough training. Bournemouth have just beaten Everton 3-0, by the way. They're playing just before us. Our game's in an hour's time. So, yeah, no. Mazraoui's also got a knock. And here we go. Simon Stone says, Mazraoui not in the squad because he's got a knock. What did I say this morning? Xerxes not played the last 2 games with a knock. Now Mazraoui's not playing with a knock. We all know Injury FC is going to come back because United have never been able to solve that problem. And Mbumo's slightly behind in his preparation than the rest of the group. And that's what Simon Stone is saying. So that's why he's not there. So no use of Mbeumo, which is, I mean, look, from a marketing point of view, it's great, isn't it? Because you just build the momentum for the next game on Thursday, where I'm sure he will be involved. But yeah, no Mbeumo. He's not ready. And then Mazraoui and Xerxes are both out with a knock. So injuries are starting to come back again. Couldn't even get 10 minutes out of Mbeumo, says it's CJ7. Thank you very much with that. And you know, Deep D makes a great point as well. This is what happens when you don't get your business done early, isn't it? We're 3 weeks away from Arsenal, and one of our key signings is not even fit enough to play pre-season. So, yeah, I mean, I'd never thought of it like that, but I suppose you're right. The reason he's not playing is because we're not ready to go, are we? So, hope you're good, says Gavin. Thank you very much. They're pressing my buttons, Mark, says Keel. Can you say hey to Ben Freeman, says Pew Pew. Hi to Ben. Gonna be a West Ham win, says Joe. Theodore says Biinda, Yoro, Delit, Heaven, Ahmad, Agate, Mainu, Dorgu, Cunha, Hoyland, Bruno. Thank you very much for that, Theodore. Heart of United's been a member for 24 months, and Mojo is in the house because he's done a super chat. Let's just have a quick look if we've got any West Ham news. They have got a Twitter account. There we go. And their lineup is Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Agard, Diouf, Rodriguez, Ward-Prowse, Soucek, Bowen and Fulkrug, with a bench of Foderingham, Walker-Peters, Paqueta, Mavropanos, Cornet, Scarles, Potts, Irving, Casey, Marshall, Kante, Galambekas, Orford, Fearon and Gillam. It's not a bad West Ham side, in all fairness. I still think they're massively missing something, aren't they? Obviously, Kudus has gone, but yeah, they're not looking that. I think we need to win tonight, and I know it won't massively matter in the grand scheme of things, but I think we do need to win. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we're very close to 125,000. We're only about 30 away before we went live, so thank you very much for that. Lots of people joining in. I might need to slow this live chat down just a tad. Let me just do that while we're live. Why were you a little bit late? I don't want to talk about it. I went to Brixham last year, which is a nice little coastal village, and I was hungry at lunchtime, and I had, I don't want to talk about it. I had battered fish and chips. The chips were like the chips that are left at the bottom. They were very battery, and obviously it was battered fish. About an hour and a half later, I was throwing up because there's something about me that if I have too much fried food, I suppose, it doesn't react well to me. So I went out for dinner tonight. Very nice food, but I had Parmesan chips, and halfway through them, I realised that they were probably the chips at the bottom because I started to feel a bit. So I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be throwing up on stream. So I gave myself an extra 20 minutes just to. I don't feel great. I won't be having I will have the champers at some point, but I won't be having it tonight because my stomach does feel a little bit off. So I'm fine. I'm fine to do the stream, but just a little bit off with that. Lovely stuff. Okay, let me just get into your chats. Kelvin, thank you very much for the super chat. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things, of course. We've got a bit of transfer stuff to go through. We've got an hour till kickoff, but we will talk about these in the next few minutes. I have two things I want to talk about, and it looks like they're going to happen, which is great because I wrote them down at lunchtime. I want to talk about Rasmus and what an opportunity it is for him tonight. I know some of you don't want to hear this, but what an opportunity it is for him. We haven't got a striker. He's starting up front. Xerxes is injured. So, you know, this is an opportunity for him. Like, it really is. Also, probably more pertinent is that we've got Ahmad playing at right wing back. Mainu playing at... I'm yawning already. That's not good. What's that all about? What's that all about? Mainu out as well. So, yeah. I'm just trying to get... Ahmad at right wing back is something that I wrote down from the morning show that somebody had asked, can we talk about before the game? But yeah, I'm very interested to see how Ahmad works out at right wing back. I'm not so sure about this. A lot of people really, really do like it, but I'm interested to see how it's going to pan out. So let's see how that works. My eyes are on that midfield partnership of Mainu Agate to see how they gel together. Ooh, sugar, honey. This is a great point. Have I missed the boat a little bit here? So the midfield, I actually think the midfield's Agate and Bruno. Interesting that you think it's Mainu and Agate with Bruno next to Cunha. I didn't think it like that. I hope you're right. I've not gone with that. I think Bruno's in the midfield with Agate and Mainu's playing as a 10. So it'd be interesting to see how that works because I actually think opposite to that. So I hope it is Mainu and Agate because we do need more legs in the midfield, and that would encourage me for the season ahead if it works, because I don't want to see Bruno in the midfield. But if Bruno's going to get moved into the number 10 spot, why did we buy Mbumo? Unless he's going to play up front. If Amrim tells them find Masmus, then he succeeds, says Keel. I hope Mainu has a good game. Bruno with Cunha, I'm happy about that, says Scott. I hope the family's good, says Enray. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for your super chat as well. Hope you're doing well. Can you make a fantasy football league, says United Daily? I think we can do, yes. That shouldn't be a problem. Oliver Cook says, he can get some goals and some confidence in relation to Rasmus. Got the shit, Spriggs, says Eric. No, it's the other way around. It's vomit. You're my hero and I love you, says Connor. Thank you very much. I mean, that couldn't have timed it any better. Talking about vomiting and then somebody says you're my hero. Maybe not anymore. Calvin, welcome. Thank you very much for your super chats that are coming in as well. As I said, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much for that. The Manchester United team is out. I will have a screenshot for you in a moment. We've got a few technical issues because it's a US tour game, so we're having to do it manually at the moment, which is annoying because I won't bore you with the detail because I'm excited about this game tonight. But the United lineup is Bienda in goal, Ahmad and Dorgu as the wing backs, wide players, whatever you want to call them. Delit, Yoro and Heaven, because obviously Mazraoui has a knock and Maguire's probably, I don't know what the situation is with Maguire. Only played half a game last week, so maybe he can't play 90 or 60 or 70. Agate and Mainu is what everyone else is thinking, with Bruno as a 10 with Cunha, but it could be Bruno in the midfield and Mainu as a 10. And then Rasmus up front. So, yeah, no Mbumo, not on the bench at all. Apparently he's not ready. He's behind everybody else, so he's not ready. And Mazraoui is injured, as is Xerxes, although it's meant to be a knock. Hi, Mark. I wish my Nigerian female team, the Super Falcons, congratulations. They've just won the AFCON against Morocco. I'm Nigerian, but I live in England. Well, that's great, Calvin. Thank you for sharing that with us, and well done to them. Didn't even know there was a female AFCON going on at the moment. So well done to Nigerian women, of course. It's England women against Spain women tomorrow in the Euros final. Pretty obvious, not obvious. I haven't seen the result. It's not a fix, but I think Spain are better. The real Don Ritchie, but hopefully it will go the other way. Real Don Ritchie, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. Hi, Mark. Thank you very much. Mbumo should be right wing back and Bruno at 10, says David. I treasure you, says Connor. Thank you very much for your super chat. Lee says, I love Ahmad at right wing back. He scores from there and we're less defensive. I think Bruno will be 10. I agree with Lee about that. The positive about Ahmad at right wing back is that it makes us more attacking. The positive about Bruno at number 10 is that he's not in the midfield. So hopefully we'll see a more attacking team. And we are playing West Ham, Everton and Bournemouth. I think we should be more attacking. And Fiorentina. I think in a way it could be classed as spin, but it's an opportunity to be more on the front foot. West Ham have never been renowned for being an attacking side. Everton are quite defensive as well. So there's a real opportunity for United here to go onto the front foot. Do you think Amrim will... Brooksy says, do you think Amrim will start benching Casemiro this season based on this lineup, bring him on more as an impact player? I just don't think Casemiro has got the legs for the Premier League. I think most of his good games in the latter half of last season came in the Europa League, which is slower. I don't think he's got the legs. And that's, I don't think that's out of the box or, sensational. I don't think he's got the legs for the Premier League, and Casemiro has to go down as one of the best holding midfielders of our generation, but I think that is something that's going to be problematic. I don't know why I'm yawning. Sometimes I'm yawning because I'm tired, and sometimes I'm yawning because I'm going to throw up. So I don't feel like I'm going to throw up. So hopefully I'm just tired. Look, I can do this. I've done 24-hour streams. I've done Super Bowl streams that go to 4 o'clock in the morning. Next Thursday night, we're playing Bournemouth at 2:30 in the morning kickoff, so it won't finish till about 5. I feel like I'm talking to myself here, but I can do this. We can do this. Fans do this all season. I'm with you. Mark, thoughts on Vitek, young Man United goalkeeper? Well, it doesn't matter what I think about him, Robert, because he's not here. Is he? He's not been chosen. We've brought 3 goalkeepers, and he's not one of them. Spence says it's Bruno in the 10, according to the Man United app. Look, that would make more sense. I think it would be great to see Mainu in the midfield with Ugarte. I mean, how many times have we actually seen that since we've had Ugarte at the football club? I think when Ten Hag was here, that was what we thought was going to happen. So hopefully we're going to see it. People who are tuning in late, no Mbeumo. Just keep updating them because there is no Mbeumo at all. He is not ready for the bench even. He's behind everybody else. And as somebody said in the chat, and I'm not going to take any credit for this, is that not an indication of why we shouldn't have spent 8 weeks doing the deal? Because he's actually not ready for pre-season, is he? He didn't. I said it this morning. He didn't do a pre-season with Brentford. He was training on his own. So look, it's not terrible. It's not the end of the world, but he's not ready for our second game of pre-season because we took so long doing the deal. So ultimately, that is why he ain't playing. Simple. Yeah. Do you think Amrin will start benching Casemiro? We've done that. Any idea why Mbeumo's not on the bench? Says Addy on Twitch. We've just done that. Rather reality check now than later for the Amrin outers. So many injuries so early. Need to sort new signings out early. Prepared for the worst, says Mourinho. Mainu and Bruno will be into switching, says it's DJ Buzzy. And Mbeumo is doing an Alexis Sanchez and regretting his move already, says Joe. I don't think he is. Ahmad's story on Snapchat, his shirt next to Mbeumo in the locker room. Strange if Mbeumo not in the squad, says Oscar. Maybe Ugarte is the number 10. You never know that. Well, Collier was last week, wasn't he, King? Welcome to Members Club, the real Don Ritchie. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for getting your badge in. Really appreciate that. And Chiri says, if we don't get a striker, Amrin may be tempted to play 3-5-2 with Cunha and Mbeumo up front and Bruno behind him as the sole 10. Oh, Chiri, nice to hear from you, actually. Long-time viewer of the United Stand. I hope you're doing well. This is, I wouldn't say it's my concern. I want to see United winning. I don't want to spend pre-season with the Amrim out crew, basically. I'd rather have positivity and goals. But, obviously, I think it would be remiss not to draw attention to the fact that if we do well, and Rasmus scores goals, and Mbeumo scores goals, and Cunha plays as a number 9, and all this, United will repackage this summer as we're not buying a striker. So there's always a negative and there's always a positive. And I think if we do well without signing a striker, they'll just say we're not buying a striker. And then it will bite us on the arse at some point in the season. What's worse is that we are still dithering over key positions like striker and keeper. So we're definitely not ready for the start of the league either, says Emily Derry. Well, look, I think, I wouldn't say it's a positive, but when you look at Mbeumo, he's not ready to play this game even though he's trained with the team and he's been here, right? So at the end of the day, this just shows you how far behind any new signing would be. So we're basically using this squad for Arsenal and hope we don't pick any more injuries up. Because as we've said, Mazraoui's now got a knock and Xerxes had a knock for the last 2 weeks. So I don't want to talk about injuries. I want to be positive on a Saturday night. But I have said to you a few times, and a few of you have said it back to me, Injury FC is here to stay. We're not going to suddenly get rid of that. We've done nothing in the medical department, by the way. There is nothing in the medical department to suggest that anything's going to change. We do that. Okay. Hopefully have got... Here we go. Lovely stuff. Well done, Matt. Let me download that. Just going to whack something on the screen for you, which will hopefully be appreciated. Where are you? Where are you? Let's be having you. Delia. It's not a picture of Delia Smith. Although I probably could put a picture of Delia Smith up. That would be interesting. No, it's this. There we go. There's the lineup on the screen for you. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. 20,000 watching already, by the way. This is what we're all about. The biggest and the best. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, so that's the lineup for you. For the millionth time, I feel I'm going to be saying it a lot through the stream. There is no Mbumo because he is not fit enough to start the game because he hasn't had a pre-season and only started having it this week. So Mbumo did not have a pre-season with Brentford. He wasn't training with the team. He was training individually. So he's not actually fit enough to start or be even on the bench. So no Mbumo, we won't see him today. No Mazraoui, he's got a knock. No Xerxes, he's got a knock. No Anana, he's on his way back from injury as well. Gareth Jones says, everyone keeps saying a striker is our most important next signing, but a decent keeper is a must. We finished second with a great keeper in Solskjaer, says Gareth. Lee Goldart says, I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot of interchanging and experimentation this pre-season. If it works, it makes us hard to play against, says Lee. I like what you're saying, Lee, and I think what you're basically saying is when you look at that team, we could be in a situation where we can interchange a lot of players. So during the game, Mainu could swap with Bruno, and Ahmad could swap with Mbumo if he was playing as a 10. You know, the look, what I'm saying is there could be a lot of interchanging in game. The problem with that is you need high IQ footballers to do it. And what we saw last season is in 6 months, our lads couldn't even figure out how to go from a 4-3-3 to a 3-4-3. So interchanging players takes high IQ footballers. Sorry, interchanging systems takes high IQ footballers. That's the question. Could we sign a midfielder instead of a forward and just play Bruno as a false 9, keeping him as an offensive threat and not defensive liability, says Luke. Luke, you're not the first person to ask this question, and I therefore I won't ridicule it. But why would you play Bruno as a false 9? Do you know what a false 9 is? A false 9 is somebody that drops into the midfield as a 10. We've already got 2 number 10s. So Bruno would drop into 2 number 10s. What are they going to do? Hold hands and do ring a roses? Like, the whole point of an Amrim system is that you need a focal point at the top who plays on the last man, presses the goalkeeper, runs the channels, you know, gets on the end of things. That's the hypothetical. So I think that you can't really use a false 9 when you've got 2 number 10s there as well. We should go for Wizzer, Lemens and a centre midfielder from New Zealand, says ProBlocks. No, he doesn't want a centre midfielder from New Zealand. There's a full stop. He's from New Zealand. I'm supporting the best channel in the world from South Africa, says Carl. Yeah, let us know in the chat where you are. You don't need to tell me what time it is, but you can if you want. Thank you very much. Would rather see the system work today than win, says Xlad. Love the back 3. Hope that's our future. I mean, that, you know what? That is a great comment by Xlad. By Ankit. We haven't looked at that back 3, but Heaven's left-footed, Yoro's right-footed, and Delit's in his mid-20s. That's a good comment, actually. I like Mazraoui. I like Maguire. But that's probably the 3 centre-backs that you want, isn't it? Really, if we're being honest. Great point, Ankit. Everyone keeps saying a striker is our most... done that one from Gareth. Lee. I think using Ahmad as a right wing-back against teams with low block and Delo against teams like Arsenal, City, Liverpool when we need to defend more tightly and on the back foot, horses for courses. Yeah, I agree. I do agree, Brendan. I think we're not going to see Ahmad at right wing-back every game. I mean, you're not going to go to Anfield and play Ahmad at right wing-back, are you? It's too attacking. So, yeah, I think that it would be quite unusual because we're not used to it. But it would be quite sensible to approach games in different ways because we're used to seeing the same team play every week under Ten Hag and Amrim and, you know, the general gradual degradation of the team as it gets more tired and gets more knocks. We've got a big squad and we've got no Europe. So I think we should be approaching games in different ways. So you might play Burnley at home and put Ahmad at right wing back and Burmo, Cunha, Bruno in the midfield. The next game could be Man City and you go, okay, Delo at right wing back, Agate, Casemiro in the midfield, Bruno as a 10 and Burmo to the bench, Ahmad to the bench, Cunha and maybe Xerxes up top. So I don't think we need to be so rigid with what our best 11 is because we actually need to be. I don't think we've got high IQ players. So if you haven't got high IQ players, maybe you interchange players for different types of games. Would you ever consider playing Heaven at the 6? He's got pace, power, height and technical poise, says Will. No, because he's not even established as a centre-back yet. So why would you try and change his position? Although he did play further forward in the youth at Arsenal. That Arsenal game is going to be brutal. Eze next, then Leao for them. Leao as well? What's going on? It's 12 a.m. It's my birthday and I turn 40. I just want to say it's an absolute privilege to spend my first hours being 40 with this community, says Toad called Rory. Lovely stuff, Rory. Happy birthday at midnight. The game is meant to kick off at midnight, but as anybody who's experienced these pre-season games, they never kick off on time. Lee Goldart, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Legend, thanks for getting your badge in. Brody says, I live in Ireland now, but I'm from Chicago. Your next visit stateside, I can't recommend Chicago enough. I hope Beth has enjoyed it. I think she's loving it. Absolutely loving it. Just looking at these Bournemouth goals. Good football. Yeah, lovely goal that was. Mark, can Obi-Wan Kenobi fulfill his destiny? Says Connor. How much leaner do you think Casemiro has to be for a partnership with himself and Bruno to work, says Richie? I don't think it's about being lean. I think it's about speed. You know, I mean, look, a lot of old people are skinny. They're still slow. It's true, innit? You know, my grandparents were in their 80s and they were quite skinny, but they were really slow. You know, a one-legged bloody parrot would beat them in a race. So I think Dorgu is going to shine this year, says Num. I hope so, mate. I really do. Mike777 says, Liverpool spending millions after winning the title. What did we spend after our last Premier League title? Interested to know. First ever super chat, by the way. This is a great comment, Mike. When we won the last Premier League, Sir Alex Ferguson walked and we bought Fellaini. And I don't think we bought Mata till the January, did we? So it was a bit shit, really. Varen's just gifted 10 memberships. Give him a big shout out in the chat. Wayne Ruby is a new member as well. What happens when this pivot is our best one yet, says Sean. And look at the team in threes. Each triangle of 3 players should be interchangeable in a clockwise or counterclockwise rotation in a Ruben Amorim system, says Mark. Might be a bit late at night for us to start thinking like that. Connor says, I'm going to be a daddy. Any advice as a daddy? Enjoy it and stick to it. There we go. Will Boyd, thank you very much for your super chat. Ahmad had a story with Mburmo kit game ready, says Mikhail. I don't know, maybe he's... I mean, look, let's not start conspiracies. The reality is we've heard that Mazraoui's got a knock and Mburmo's just not quite ready. So Maybe that's what, let's not start conspiracies that he might be injured. I expect Mainu to have quite a bit of the ball in midfield. I'm looking forward to Mainu, actually, Trendle. I am looking forward to Mainu, hopefully playing in the midfield. Obviously, we've got Bruno as an 8 and Mainu as a 10. A lot of people think it's the other way around, so I'll be happy if that is the case. Don't you just sit back and sigh massively at the decision-making of our club in all aspects, Mark, says J. Jim. I think we need each other. I think we'd go crazy if we didn't have each other. I mean, look, even this afternoon, the story about the stadium and private investment, I had a lot of people going, well, this is how you do it. You can't build a 2 billion stadium without private investment. You can. You can get a loan. You can use your own money. Private investment is part of a strategy to build a stadium. Lots of people do it. But when I hear Man United and private investment, I just hear more debt. I thought the new stadium was going to be a cash cow. How can it be a cash cow when it's going to take 5 years to build and probably about 10 to pay off? That's my concern. Could you give me an explanation on why you think we haven't got rid of any of this shit that was actually here all last season and is the reason for finishing 15th and bottling the finals, says Abraham. I can't give an explanation for that, Carl. I don't know. I think it's a very valid point made by you. I don't know the explanation for that, because getting rid of Sancho, Garnacho, Rashford, Malacia and Anthony is all fine and good. Only one of those players was responsible for United losing the final and finishing 15th. So I don't know about that, to be honest with you. It's interesting, I suppose, but yeah, it is interesting, but I am with you. I think there should have been some accountability. It is strange how the majority of the squad that finished 15th and bottled the final is still here. But I think that's more about volume and the inability to sell. Some of these players are unsellable. You probably would move Mount, Shaw. You probably would move Mount, Shaw, Casemiro on. Maybe Rasmus. I mean, I personally wouldn't, but I think the majority would. There's about 7 players you'd probably move on if you could, but you can't. Would rather walk to get rid of the debt than run, Mark, says Jose. Please call my nephew Jackson a prat, says John. Will we see more goals or Amrim's interviews this season, says CP1. I want to see some goals tonight. I want to see some goals on this tour. Surely that's what it's all about. Thank you to you and the United Stand crew for all you do. Love the community, says Varun. Thank you very much. Agate holds the key. I'm with Dylan on this. I really do hope that Agate is going to have a big season because he's such an important player in that midfield, which we are all concerned about. So I think last season there was a few periods of time where Agate looked really good, and there was also times where he didn't. But consistency, he didn't have a pre-season, did he? Tanai says it's a lineup is on Google is different. Yeah, I don't know how long you've been part of this. We've been doing this for many years, but I really don't lose any sleep about predicted lineups because loads of times it's been wrong. It sounds like Bruno will be where Mainu is, but we're not going to change it because what if we're right? We can change it afterwards. Agate holds the key. Thank you very much, Dylan. No shit, a one-legged parrot can beat him. He can fly, says Ezek. Yeah, but it's talking about a running race, not a flying race. Get the telescope out. Camera was so far zoomed out for the Everton versus Bournemouth match. Assume it will be the same for this match. Oh, yeah. AZ. It was the same in the Club World Cup final, wasn't it, AZ Tracy? It's at the MetLife Stadium. So Jim Radcliffe told Amram to make Maguire a striker to save money, says King. My wife, Zoe, loves United Stands, says Daniel. She's got good taste. Where is Xerxes? He's injured, love Gooning. What's your favourite colour, says Bok. Red. And when do you reckon we submit bid for lemons, says David. We'll probably buy a bag of lemons before we buy that. I can't believe how... I'm just looking at the aerial view of the MetLife. It's proper in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? Considering like New York and New Jersey are massive. Liverpool spending millions after winning the title. That was from Mike77. We've read that one. I'm not surprised we still have most of the squad from last season here, says Patrick Lynch. Hope you're doing well, Patrick. Can you name one thing that Ineos said they'd do and we've actually followed through on? I'm struggling to think of one. I can't remember what they did. Yeah, I can't remember what they did. I can't remember what they said they'd do. I can't remember what they said they'd do. Put the Manchester back into Manchester. People underestimate De Ligt. He's serious worry. I love him, Num. I love him. Hoyland equals most embarrassing number 9 in history, says 1 Inch Wonder. Loving the negativity there. Just a great way to start a game. I'm not loving the negativity, by the way, but people are entitled to their opinion. Do you think, Dean Curtis says, do you think the problems Amrin was alluding to in the press conference was the injuries? Perhaps I'm reaching and hoping it's not because we aren't ready. Oh, Dean, I don't really want to go back there because there's so many people that are like, oh, it's out of context. People are taking it out of context. He said, I want players here that want to work. I've got a good squad. We're going to suffer. We've got problems. And then he carried on with another positive thing. And people say it's out of context. It's not out of context. We just don't know what the context is. It could be really minor. It could be about injuries. It could be about transfers. It could be because we're not good. It could be because everyone else has spent better than us. We just don't know what the bloody context is. But you know what people are like. You know, as much as I'm hammering in and some people are hammering out, I'm not toxic positivity hammering in. And I've said this before with Ten Hag. I didn't want Ten Hag to get sacked. But some people were toxic positivity. No, Ten Hag can't go. I can't stand them people as much as I can't stand the Amrim out people. Like, there are people who are right up Amrim's arse. I don't want Amrim to be sacked and I back him, but I'm not like that. And, you know, you can't say anything. You can't question anything. Oh, well, you're taking it out of context. What are we taking out of context? He said, in the middle of a positive sentence, we're going to suffer, we've got problems. I just don't know what he meant by that. It's impossible to take it out of context because we don't know what the bloody context is because he didn't give it. You know? It could be minor. I think Bowen's going to enjoy himself today, says Robert McCormack. Robert, you're meant to be a Manchester United fan. Get behind the team. We're going to win this game comfortably 4-1. We need to get rid of players like Casemiro. Just him alone would save us around 20 million a year, says JJM. We want to get rid of Casemiro. We've wanted to get rid of Casemiro for a long time. Hi, Mark. How you doing? It's good debt. The new stadium will make a lot of incoming in the coming years, says the bathroom renovator. Mate, I know about good debt. Buying your house and borrowing $500,000 to buy it and then paying back a couple of grand a month is good debt because you've got a $500,000 house. Yeah, debt, mortgage, whatever is absolutely fine. I understand the basics of debt and positivities of it. But, bathroom renovator, if we're already £1 billion in debt and we get more private investment, we have to pay that back and the debt back. Last year, we paid about £40 million in debt interest, not even clearing debt. So when the new stadium gets built, we'll make more money because of Beyonce and more seats. But how much of that more money will still be servicing debt and new debt? Like, we're struggling, mate. We're struggling. And most of the reasons we struggle is because of who runs the bloody football club. I'm watching from Nigeria. I love the channel and the content, says Dominic. Look, my point is, I don't see a long-term plan to get out of this shit. You know, I'm looking at Rio Ferdinand in a pair of sunglasses on Sky talking about Man United. Another opportunity for an ex-player to actually use their gob and tell the world what's going on. He's not on MUTV, he's on Sky. I don't know what he said, but it would be some positive shit hoping to get another, you know, gig with MUTV or the club. Because that's all they're bothered about. Money as well. It's all Rio and everyone's bothered about. Money. Money. How do I get involved with Man United and keep myself relevant? You know, he knows as much as you know, as much as I know, that this club at the moment is being run into the ground. People he would have known from when he was at United have been sacked. Personally would know them. Never said a bloody word about it. So, look, it's a revolving cycle of people making money. And, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know why people aren't calling it out. I know you can't judge from YouTube clips, but I'm praying we join the Sesko race. Lethal finisher and has physicality for the Prem. Just on transfer news, Sean, on a striker, as I've said to you before, our priority at the moment is actually Ollie Watkins. However, and I've had no information on this at all, but I do have a feeling that there is still a possibility that we could go for Sesko, because Newcastle seem to be linked to more strikers at the moment. We've had a comment from Lemens saying Manchester United is one of the best clubs, but you never know, there might be another club, or perhaps I'll stay. When teams like Man United come along, I think you deserve it. Fabrizio has said that Benjamin Sesko at the moment, there's no official bid, no official negotiation with Man United. Man United have discussed Sesko internally. It's been an internal discussion on several strikers, including Sesko, Jackson, Watkins and more. I mean, that's repeated. He actually said that 2 days ago, so I don't know whether that's new from today or not, but he has said that before. L'Equipe is saying that Donnarumma's of interest. I mean, God, just a load of shit, to be honest with you. We've got a quote coming in from Amarim. Chris Wheeler says the reason Mbeumo not being in the squad is that he's behind the rest of the players in physical preparation. Yeah, because we took too long to bloody buy him, didn't we? Club statement, the buy from Brentford is being eased into life with the Reds as he is earlier in his pre-season preparations than the rest of the squad, and he's not quite ready to play a match yet. Not even ready to play 10 minutes. That's how far behind he is. He should be all right for the next game. Amrim, quote, Cunha played more or less in the same system at his last club. He's a great player and he can play in different positions. He's really loud in the dressing room. He's Brazilian. I love that from him. He's completely different from Mbeumo, so it's really good to combine all these characters in the club. There you go. A couple of updates dropping there around United. That's interesting as well. Apparently the Bournemouth manager has just said the pitch is something they'll have to discuss. So apparently he wasn't happy with the pitch, which is interesting. Only 25 minutes to go to the kickoff. Right, let's come back to the chat anyway. What are your thoughts on starting Xerxes up top and switching him and Cunha mid-game, says Sanska? I mean, I think it's something we might see later in the pre-season. You can't try it at the moment when there is no Xerxes. Obviously, he's got an injury at the moment. Glinios PR actually talking about Mbeumo as striker already, says Mario Franco. Look, let's get real here. Like, the chances of us keeping Xerxes, Rasmus, not signing a striker and using Cunha and Mbeumo and Rasmus and Obi and Xerxes is probably quite high. You don't have to spend a penny. But let's be real, that wasn't the plan. So if we go into a new season with Cunha and Mbeumo using them as forwards, that wasn't the plan. And they're outing themselves. So that's not backing the manager, is it? Because they've tried to get Delap. They've tried to go for Ekatike last week. They've tried to go for Gyökeres. They've tried to go for Watkins. That's 4 strikers they've gone for, and they've not got them. So they can't then, in late July, say, oh, we're not buying a striker. We're happy with what we've got. They can do that. They might do that. But every single United fan, positive or negative, will have to sit there and say, well, Amrim's not been backed, has he? Because he wanted a striker and they tried to get 4 and they didn't get any, and now they're not getting any. So, look, I'm realistic, you're realistic. How many times, if you're old enough, did we not buy a midfielder because there was no value in the market when we needed one? We might not buy a striker, which would be incredible to me, but not surprising. And all I would say is I don't think anybody's going to fall for the fact that this was the plan, because it wasn't the plan. Joe has gifted a membership. Thank you very much for that, Joe. Hi, Mark. Good game incoming. Bob says he's gelled his quiff and he's got his specs on. This is Ashworth's plan, but with Amrim. Make do, says Keel. Sean Burnby has gifted 5 memberships. Absolute legend. Thanks everyone who's gifting memberships tonight. If you're getting one, make sure you say thank you as well. Pete, I don't know who that is. Do you think the talks of having such a large squad is a hint that our owners are not expecting Europe next season, says Alan. United for the win. What are us fans watching on? What are US fans watching on, says Lil. Yeah, it's on Sky in the UK. I don't know whether it's actually on MUTV, but it's on Sky, which is better because it's not streamed. It won't be on 720p. Glinios PR, actually. Okay, Joe's done that as well. What are you going on the slide? When are you going on the slide? Also, why aren't we looking at Julian Alvarez, says Ivor. I don't know. Are you talking about the guy who plays for West Ham? What are your thoughts on? I've done that one from Sanska. Do you think the Glazers will ever step away? No, Jacob. Hi, Mark. Sports psychologist here from Ireland. Feel free to reach out midway through the season when we can't make sense of these players, says Gur. I was so much invested in Ten Hag, and seeing what happened to him, I can see Amrin being sacked before Christmas. How I can back. Does it even matter, says Funny Bone. Has anyone mentioned to you the AC Milan YouTube channel? I've seen it, Paolo. Mate, I thought it was AI. I actually... I mean, this is the problem. You create something, it's visual. What's to stop somebody just copying everything and even putting a pair of glasses on? Like, you know, you just have to laugh. Mark, what's your opinions on Pornhub ID verification, and will you verify your agenda, says Joe. I spoke about it on the late show last night. What's your half-time and full-time score prediction? JJM, please tell me that is not something you're really interested in. You're really not wanting me to give a half-time and full-time score prediction for a pre-season friendly, are you? I mean, 1, I haven't got a bloody clue. And 2, I don't give a shit. How much of that profit from the stadium goes back into the Glazers' pocket after repayments, and how much will actually go back into the club, says Emily. Exactly. I didn't know they'd bought this player, Dioff. 26 million from Slavia Prague. West Ham. I don't know what business West Ham have done, actually. I'm ignorant. Chelsea are over £700 million in debt too, says 90. Apparently Chelsea aren't in debt. I guarantee if Højlund was still at Atalanta this transfer window, 99% of his haters would be saying, let's buy him. He's a proper number 9 that needs to be nurtured, says Frank. I'm trying to stay awake till 1, which is the kickoff time in Malta. Gutted not to see Mbermo not even on the bench. Have to settle for Cunha, says Brian. Look, I am disappointed that we haven't got Mbermo playing, but ultimately Mbermo on his own is not going to change our season. We you know, I'm sure we'll see him on Thursday or next Sunday in the Everton game. There are 3 weeks pretty much to the day that we play Arsenal. So, you know, the season is fast approaching, and success in a footballing side is dependent on your weakest link. Mbermo is going to be one of our strongest links. So as much as it's exciting to see one of our better players, Seamus from the WWE, I walked past him when I was in Dublin. He knocked into me. I went to see who it was. He looked back, and then he saw who I was, and he just apologised. The goalkeeping market is looking slimmer. Savic to Napoli, says Bisson. Oh, yeah, I remember him, Milinkovic-Savic. Fair point, says Bathroom Renovator. Thank you very much, mate. Hope you're doing well. Alta says, people laughed at Levi, but he turned Spurs from a mid-table side to European champions and broke the curse because of a new stadium. Ineos have a plan. Mate, that you know what? You should get a job in marketing. People laughed at Levy because he turned Spurs from a mid-table side into European champions because of a new stadium. Ineos have got a plan. Mate, I don't think even Spurs fans class themselves as European champions. And I don't think even Spurs fans rate Levy. Jog on. Get your pair of trainers on. Alta, sponsored by Reebok. Get running. The fact that Amrim's saying we're going to suffer already is terrifying. He said that last season and we did suffer. No, I do think there is context to suffer. He might not mean we're going to finish mid-table. I don't think that's what he meant. Come on, Donegal in the All-Ireland final, says Kian. What are they doing playing at midnight? How do you think Wan-Bissaka will perform today, says Jacob? It's interesting, isn't it, actually? It's interesting. I mean, you could take this as a negative, actually. This time last year, Wan-Bissaka was playing for Man United on the tour. It's just another example of how even last year, even this year, we're making the mistakes of last year. Like last year, Wan-Bissaka was playing for Man United. I think he played every game in the US tour. Because I remember going, he's going to get bloody injured. Why are we playing him? So a year on, here we are doing the same shit again. Not ready. Not ready, are we? I think McTominay was playing as well, wasn't he? Can you call my friend Lincoln a prat, says James. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Good night, Mark. Great to see the season back. Hope all is well. The increase in pace will be great to see, and quick ball and proper counter-attack. Hope so, John. Alta says, Ineos are doing a great job. End of the day, the window only closes on August the 3rd. We need to look at the long-term solution. Wilcox is the man. I think he's on the wind-up, Alta. Rasmus will be surely be getting better service this season with the new number 10s. It's Rasmus's first game with Cunha as well. I mean, let's hope that we do see some better football. My Mrs. Abby wants to know if you're single. Well, I'm not doing any of them bloody cuckold things or threesomes, so no. And I'm married anyway. Should have said that first, actually. Thank you, Northeast Beast. That sounds horrific. He's called Northeast Beast, and Abby wants to know if I'm single. Be like Gareth in The Office when he's on that sidecar in the going. Oh, just the mind boggles. What I bet you'd want to join in as well. People underestimate Delit, says Num, Serious Warrior. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats that are coming in. Thanks everyone who's subscribed, by the way. I think we've hit 125,000. We've hit 126. We're on the road to 127. It's going crazy tonight. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Thanks for that. Lovely stuff. I've just lost my chat. There we go. George, welcome to the members club. Thank you very much for that. Lucas saying breaking Cunha is a Man United player, says Ibrahim. James says, hi Mark. I'm just going to stretch my back out here. You won't notice anything. I'm just going to go down on my knees. Oh, that hurt my ribs. Hi Mark, would you do a swap deal between Anthony and Hernandez from Betis for a new number 9? No, James. Bathroom Renovators just gifted a membership. He's getting involved in the chat tonight. Hopefully we're going to see Kone and Munro today, says Lee. It'd be nice to see some cameos from the younger players later on in the game, but if I'm being completely brutally honest, I don't want to use the tour for that. I want to use the tour for rhythm, system, and flow. We've got a really tough start to the season, and unless Kone is going to be starting games, and Munro, I think we've got to just start. Joe says, oh my God, thanks to the Bathroom Renovator. He was the guy who got the membership. The badge is there. You can write already Rashford will outlast Amorim and other managers, same old. Hey, Oliver, I literally said that a month ago. I said, I've got a funny feeling Rashford will outlast Amorim at Man United. Figure it out. Scott Page has gifted a membership as well. Score prediction, Mark. I'm going to go 4-1 to Manchester United, Hayden. Thanks for letting us know it's on Sky. I thought it was only on MUTV and was just going to listen to you. Cheers, Mark. You're a legend, says Peter. I don't even know if it is on MUTV. I'm watching on Peacock in the US. Great job, Mark. Keep it up, says Ronnie. How could United get out of debt? Clearly selling players isn't working. Selling our youth players when they come up to the first team, says the Bathroom Renovator. Alvarez. Oh, yeah, Alvarez. I thought you were talking about Alcaraz. Either. Yeah, I mean, Alvarez is an ex-Man City player who would cost about 90 million. So I think Liverpool looked at him, but we won't be looking at him. Chris says, I'm glad to be back with the United Stand. Went through a bad bout of depression, but I'm better and happy to be with the United Stand family. Look, if you're ever feeling down anyway, don't go away. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock. There's always a live community here, so get involved. Mark, the Italian version of your channel, the fella is better looking, says Joe. Well, if you find men attractive and you find him more attractive than me, fill your boots. We were never getting it on anyway. Maybe he will. Maybe get in his chat. drop him a super chat and say, do you fancy going out for a lasagna and a glass of red? What? I don't know what they drink in Italy. I think they do drink red wine. I don't know whether they make it. But they probably do. I've got my dairy milk, beer and game ready, says Dean Curtis. Champers. Do you think Collier will become first team player this season? Seems like he has great moments, then vanishes for months, says Matthew. My understanding is that I think look, I broke this in, well, I didn't break it. Our source told us about it, who's at the club. To bring a midfielder in, we've got to get rid of a midfielder. And what I was told, and we mentioned it in May, is that Casemiro is the one they want to get rid of. Collier could be going anyway. I think Collier might be surplus to requirements. And you sort of understand that. When you can't get Casemiro, Agate and Mainu in a starting 11 every day, then maybe that's, you know, maybe Collier is surplus to requirements, especially when Kone's coming through. Brody says, we've been training for weeks now. I want to see something tonight. I want goals. I want good pressing and showing that we have a system that is working. I agree with you, mate. I think in the game tonight, that's what I'm looking for across the next 4 games. We've got West Ham, Bournemouth, Everton, Fiorentina. We're not playing bloody Real Madrid or PSG or Liverpool. We're playing mid-table clubs. And although that's what we are, some might say, we need to start behaving slightly better. So I want to see a Manchester United performance that reflects where we want to be. And we want to be comfortably in the... we want to be comfortably in the top 10, don't we, this season? So to do that, you've got to start putting teams like this away. Simple. Just a quick look there. That's absolutely fantastic. Hi, Mark. Would you rather get Lemens, who could be a world class in 2 or 3 years for the next 10 years, or Martineau, who is 100% a quick fix? I'd be very happy with either, Newly, because that would mean we haven't got an Arna in goal. So, yeah, I'd be very happy with either. Parker says 2 Gnome 10s. Rasmus will come good. Anana, though, says Parker. Do you have any discounts codes for VPN for us, says Cornetto? If anyone remembers what our Surfshark one is, that will still be valid. I can't remember what it is, though. Question is, Mark, when do we have to expect with the new Spurs, says Oliver Barnaby. Live in the stadium, Mark. Bruno's wearing pink boots, says I'm powered by Honda. Pinu, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. Joe Wright says, Mark, I wish I could. He might have a Mrs. Goldbridge too. I don't know what that's all about. This has to be a 75-minute game for the starting lineup, but some rhythm. Find some balls, says Ryan. Well, look, there's something to be positive about. Definitely under Van Gaal, Ten Hag, Solskjaer. First game on tour, because it's our second game, but the first game on the US tour and the second game on the US tour, I specifically remember we'd have a team for 45 minutes, then a completely different team in the second half. I never really understood what that was all about. Amrim is saying he doesn't want to do that. Amrim's saying he wants to play a team for longer than 45 minutes and make subs. So, look, I think Amrim really genuinely does get the brief. I think he genuinely does think like you. I think he genuinely does think like we think. We've got to build rhythm. We need better players. We've got to get the system working. And the only way to do that is to use players that he wants to use more. Somebody just said, what about the injuries? I am slightly worried about the injuries because I think they're always going to be there. I think many of us would love to go, we're not going to get many injuries this season, but we will. And I'll tell you why. If you've got a door that's old and squeaky, and you spray some WD-40 on it to stop it squeaking, it will start squeaking again because the hinge is old. Man United players who've had a lot of injuries are always going to get injuries. They're not going to go from, I get injured a lot, to I'm not going to get injured anymore. They're still going to pick up injuries. Xerxes had a few knocks in the time that he's been here. In a year, Xerxes had quite a few knocks. Mazraoui has started picking knocks up and has another knock. We know about Mount. We know about Shaw. Ahmad's missed half a season for the last 2. So there's a lot of players that you're looking at this year and going, please don't get injured. Have to wonder why we still have the Amrin outers. Clearly not been backed, says Louis Watson. He must be so disappointed. Cunha and Mbeumo, incredible signings, but Amrin needs a lot more to get us challenging for the top 5, says Louis. Thank you very much for your super chat, Louis. I appreciate that. Also, Join says, which players do you think are on thin ice and you would look to sell in January or next summer if they don't perform? Join, I can't talk about thin ice players when we can't sell, obvious players. I think we're crap at selling. So Lindelof was here for 8 years. I think many of us thought he should have gone 5 years ago. So it's very difficult to say what players are on thin ice. I think even if you're shit at United, you're on concrete ice. It ain't going to break. Varen's gifted 5 memberships. Give him a shout out. Varen, you're a legend. Thank you very much. Stadium's starting to fill up now. Bournemouth, Everton were in here. But obviously there'll be a lot more United fans. Luke says we need Qatar. Could have outspent most teams due to profit margins and sponsorships. We're hindered by the debt. Glazers and Ineos out, says Luke. Right. Looks like we've got a technical error here, so I'm going to have to go manual. Just bear with me. I'll answer this question while I'm doing it. Would you have taken the Bruno bid to get maybe a Watkins, Mateta and Belieber Wharton in midfield? Bruno is kind of stuck in the formation we play, says Owen. I think that Bruno is a really valuable player when you play him in the number 10 position. I think when you play Bruno as a midfielder, that becomes more problematic, as has been discussed before. So yes, I would have took the money. I would have took the money. I've said that before and I'll say it again. But obviously, we didn't. What the fuck? I don't know what that is there. Have we got... Right. What happens if it doesn't stay 0-0? I just read it just says there. That's them there. Okay, that's getting changed. Would you have done that from Owen? We've been training for weeks. I want to see something tonight, says Brody. Yeah, I've seen that chat. Thank you very much for that. 5 minutes to kick off. Srinvasan says, if Amrim says to Casemiro he is 4th choice, won't Casemiro leave, giving it its World Cup year? Well, Srinvasan, maybe. Maybe that will happen. It would be helpful. But we've always heard that Casemiro is very happy and would be looking to run his contract down. This game could end up kicking off on time. The players are actually walking out onto the pitch here. So it could be kicking off at midnight UK time, which would be interesting if that is the case. So we're live here. It's a live watch along. United stand. Me, Mark Goldbridge. US tour. Man United against West Ham. Teams on the screen there next to me. And hopefully, we're going to see a performance from Manchester United that starts to instill a little bit of hope, because we've got to get this system working, haven't we? There we go. That will work, won't it? Lovely. There we go. Man United in white again. They've got shirts to sell. Linda says, I'm looking forward to Rage Bridge coming back. Well, I'm not going to rage about a pre-season tour, but I do want to see... I do want to see a performance from United. I'm just going to remove... Oh, no, what I'll do. I want to do... I'm going to have to update the score manually because our stats provider has not provided the stats, so... It's very annoying. Fit to screen. There we go. So that's going to go there. And I'm going to... Players coming out onto the pitch anyway. Oh, no, I need that. I need that. Pull that down there. Midnight kickoff, yeah. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you give us a follow. Okay, I'm going to go there. That. You can go there. And you can go there. There we go. That'll do. God. Right. Lovely stuff. We're cooking on gas now. Ahmad is playing as a wing back. It has got Mainu and Agate playing in the midfield, but I don't know what's going on there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Get your comments in. We'll read those out. Only hope for the season is for our youth to have crazy jump in development, says David Rodriguez. Glazers are running us like a small club as they rake in the profits. Watching it on Sky, Man United has a potato, MUTV has a potato for a camera, says Brode. So apparently you can actually watch it on Sky. So fair play for that, on MUTV. Mark, sorry for Jackson stuff. Can we be friends, says Ryan. Jack Stockdale's been a member for 38 months. You're a legend, Jack. Thank you very much for that. We've not... Oh, we might actually kick off at midnight here. Maguire looks lean. We're going to win the league, says Dead. Manny1 says, Mark, what do you think about the academy players we just bought? Ron... Okay. Load of shit comment that. Bruno and Maina are in the wrong spot, says Dylan. It's not that deep, mate. What's funny is the fact that Sir Jim, Omar and Ruben all have been interviewed, yet the person to answer on transfers is Wilcox. Journalists, terrible, says Hitton. Can you wish my mate Sam Rosam a happy birthday, says Keen. And Varen's gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much for that, Varen. Graham Potter is the manager. I forgot about that. Bit of a huddle going on here. Right, let's do this. Thanks for everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Can you wish my mate Sam Rosam a happy birthday? Varen's gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much for that. Okay, Bruno, we think, is going to be playing. I've missed the bloody kickoff there. It's all right. We're all right. We're going. Well, it's West Ham instantly on the attack here. Cunha wins it. Edge of the box. Dorgu loses it. Second ball, we've got a bit of a break. Pure pace. Rasmus will get there. Rasmus will get there. Oh, he's hit the post. Oh, so close from Rasmus, that. Lovely little run. Strong. But he showed real strength there, actually. Didn't see any of this last season. Strength, gets ahead of the defender on his left foot. Oh, I tell you what, if he'd scored that, the confidence would have been sky high. What do you think about that? It was strong play. I mean, we didn't see any of that last season. And it was a good break from Man United. Got to score, says Gobert. But he's shooting from outside the bloody box. Got to score. You're acting like it was a 2-yard tap-in. It was a good counter. Good open game, this, to start off with. Offside there as well. Hopefully we're going to see more of this tonight. Hope so. Mark, I'm at the game and listening to you, says Jimmy. Tell people about the United stand. I'm watching from Canada. Enjoy the game, everyone, says Marco. I hope Bruno focuses on holding his position today. That would stabilise us, says Anders. I'm hoping with better players. I'm hoping with better players in the 10 positions, Bruno will be more disciplined, says Bradley. Thank you very much. Well, a couple of minutes in here. And a reasonable start by Manchester United. Dorgu down the left-hand side. That'll be a free kick. Cross into the box. He's dropped it. He's dropped it. That's a penalty, ref. He's given it. Penalty. Keeper's rubbish. Given a penalty. I don't know what. Well, what Areola have always said he's a bit of a tit, and he's definitely given up a penalty here. Dropped the ball. It's a Stonewaller, that. Stonewaller goes into the back of heaven. Nowhere near the ball. Typical pre-season challenge, that. And that will be that. A definite penalty. Bruno to score. Bruno to score. Here he goes, Bruno. Yeah, simple, 1-0. First goal of pre-season, and it's Bruno who gets it. 1-0. Let's get a few more. Sorry if you've had some problems in the live chat. We've sorted it out now. It was on subscriber-only chat for some people, so we've sorted that out. Thank you for everybody. The Premier League is ours, says Warren. Well, look, Rasmus is at the post. Bruno's at the back of the net from what was a penalty. Man United are 1-0 up here. Let's just, look, I'll be very, very clear. I don't want to win games 1-0 because of crappy goalkeepers giving penalties up. I'd rather draw 4-4 and play good football and create good chances. So it's 1-0 to United. I just need to update the score here, quite rightly. People are telling me that. I'm not used to being manual. This is the problem. So there we go. 1-0. Where am I watching this? It is on MUTV, but you can watch it on Sky. Thank you very much, Brov. Finally sub mode off. Yeah, apologies, that was on me. Yeah. Why is there a game at 2 a.m, says Karim? Because it's the US, mate. It's not 2 a.m. in the US. It's actually midnight in the UK, and it's therefore 6 p.m. in East Coast. 3 p.m. West Coast, maybe. Let's see what we can do from a 1-0 anyway. Yoro 15 or Obi on the number 3 kits, says Ivor. Don't know what you're talking about. We've started off really well, says Carmine. I can't watch it on the app. Only commentary, says Who to Blame. Jimmy Jack says penalty. Slow Sports News. West Ham on the attack. I tell you what, it's a very good tempo to this game. Cross comes in. Binder gets his hands onto that and palms it away. But I tell you what, it's a competitive start here. It's much better than the Leeds game last week, which was utter shite. There's a really good tempo to this game. And look, I tell you what, I'm all for it. Bournemouth beat Everton 3-0. So hopefully we'll get a bit of a bit of a. At 7 p.m. it is East Coast, 5 hours behind. Loving the streams. Keep up the good work, says Shinab. Thank you very much for your contribution. Fancy any of our new signings taking the free kicks or corners, says Zico. I mean, I'd like to see Cunha on them, yeah. I've seen enough. United are getting Champions League next year, says Alex. Thank you for that. I'm at the game listening to you, says Jimmy. Thank you. Josh Mark says my middle name is Mark. Thank you. The season starts here. Wan-Bissaka. Potter. I forgot Potter. I always think Moyes is West Ham manager, but then I've just watched him for Everton. I mean, imagine if you managed 2 Premier League clubs. I really think the signing of Leon will be the making of Dorgu, says Source. And I love Cunha's situational awareness. Whoever our lead striker is going to benefit massively when they can just be a pure 9 and not a 9.5, says someone. I remember saying this like last November time that Cunha would be perfect for us. And I genuinely think he can be. I didn't know we were going to buy him, but I think he's a very, very good player. Shatter Khan says, I'm in the stadium, Mark. Rasmus needs confidence and Pickford is shite. Come on, United. Oh, you watched the Everton game. Do you get 2 for 1 then? Everton played Bournemouth before this game in this summer series, and Everton got beat 3-0. I watched the first 20 minutes and I thought Everton were the better side. But feels like a Premier League match, this, says Ray. The speed's really good. Speed and intensity of this game is really good. Remember, Potter, the way Potter wants to play, if you think about Brighton and Chelsea, look, you can take the piss out of Potter all you like. His teams have always struggled to score goals. But at Brighton and even at Chelsea, and he wasn't there that long, they're not really what I'd call, they are possession sides, certainly. Obi or Yoro, who should I get on the 3rd kit, says Ivor. When is the 3rd kit out? Does anybody actually know when the 3rd kit's out? Thank you very much, Zay, MUFC. Love you for life, Bridge. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks everyone who's tuning in for this, by the way. A late stream. Well, 3 in a row, isn't it? We've got tonight, which is a midnight UK kickoff. We'll do a match reaction straight after this. We've got Thursday night, which is 2:30 in the morning UK time, with early hours of Friday morning, and then next Sunday it's 10 o'clock against Everton. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's great to have some football back. because Man United's transfer windows can drag you down, certainly. Doesn't MUTV normally show pre-season games? It's not showing it, says Black Wolf. It's because it's the Sky Sports Summer Series. I thought that the other day. I thought all games will be on the MUTV, and apparently this is on a terrible pass by Bruno there. And he gives up a foul. Oh, no, he's not giving the foul. So, yeah, that's why it's on Sky. I'd rather it was on Sky because MUTV is like streaming it off a bloody phone. Tim Howard is so annoying on commentary, says Jack. Yeah, they've got Robbie Earle as well, haven't they? It must be a link-up with NBC. You had Rio on as well. Feels like a Premier League match, says Ray. Thank you very much. Where's Mburmo, says Robbo1258. And HJ says, what do you think is going to happen with Isak? I think Isak's going to go to Liverpool, mate. Check out That's Football if you want to check that out. But Mburmo not ready is the answer. Basically, the statement came out that he's not ready. And that's why he's not playing today. Obviously, he hasn't had a pre-season, has he? Because we took so long to sign him. Really good intensity to this game, though. I mean, I know we're playing a Premier League opposition, but it doesn't always work like that. Here we go again. Cunha's got a bit of space. If he can switch it to Dorgu. Oh, Bruno could have played it in. Oh, it's a bad pass into Rasmus, that. He's done well to win it back, though. Well done, Rasmus. Wasn't a great ball by Bruno. And again, nice to see Bruno playing in the 10, though. Who's left back for Bournemouth now, says Luke. I don't know what Bournemouth are doing. Humland's gone. Kirkes has gone. I don't know whether they brought players in. I probably should do some research on some of these teams that we're playing. Good play out from the back here from West Ham. I tell you what, I'm actually enjoying this game. I think it's mainly because the Leeds game was crap. I didn't watch the Liverpool game earlier, HJ. They lost 4-2 though, didn't they? Jeffrey says, we don't always control games. It's frustrating. Scally says, I'm watching on MUTV and it's surprisingly good quality. And Ross Stephen says, does this stadium have a great grass pitch or Astro? I remember the amount of injuries we had last pre-season when they played on Astro. I don't know. The Bournemouth manager wasn't happy about it after their game. John says, shout out to John and Sarah on holiday in Sicily. Mate, big Irish fans of the channel. That could be another penalty. Not going to give that though, are you, ref? That could have been... For me, that's another... You've got to take a look at that, ref. You know, Tadebo's in all sorts of trouble. It's probably not a penalty, to be fair. 50-50. Pitch looks shite, says Mark Roberts. Shout out to John and Sarah. Anyway, in Sicily sounds lovely. Slow Cheetah says, would you be delighted with a top half finish from United this year? No. Depends where it is. I'd be delighted with Champions League football, so 5th place. I can't say I'd be delighted with 9th. Even though it would be an improvement. I feel that good play by Rasmus. Should have had a shot. Oh, over the bar. Could have played Bruno in. Anxious. Getting chances. I've been at Rugby Awards. How have we looked, says Henny. Well, we've only been playing for, what, 15 minutes, but it's been better. We've got to sign a striker. That's what the chat says. Are you streaming the Community Shield game, says Louis. What, Liverpool against Crystal Palace? I wouldn't have thought so. I might do, we'll see. Nice little flick on here. West Ham on the attack. Good play by DeLitt. KMD says, I saw Jordan Pickford at the Yankee game yesterday. His T-Rex arms wouldn't work in baseball either. Is it the first time DeLitt is continuing with the same manager in successive seasons? Good to see you, Mark, says Zico. It can't be the first time in his whole career, but it's been the first time in a while. Early predictions for pre-season Pirlo, says Shihab. I hope we don't get a pre-season Pirlo. A pre-season Pirlo is somebody that's actually shit, who does really well in pre-season, like Pereira did. Good play by Mainu there. Anagarte. We definitely look more comfortable in the midfield here. More energy in the midfield. Fergie used to buy players from the Premiership. Is Amrim doing the same this season? Lovely ball into Bruno. Can't quite take it down. Thank you very much for the super chats. And big shout out to everyone who has subscribed. Bottom right hand corner to do that. 15 minutes gone. United 1-0 up. Penalty. Was a penalty. Silly challenge by Areola. Some would say a bit of a tit. And Bruno dispatched it to the bottom corner. Manchester United 1-0 up. Ash says, we play a lot like Chelsea's Conte team under this system. We're going to be a very pragmatic team. Another overlap here for Dorgu. Probably could have crossed it first time. But it's a nice ball into Cunha. Thought about having a shot. Does have a shot straight at the keeper. Don't want to see loads and loads of long shots, Cunha. We'll let you off, but don't want to see that happening. Shout out to all fellow US fans. Hoping to see you all in Chicago, says Eric. Yeah, Man United basing themselves in Chicago. Play in Chicago on Thursday and then Atlanta on Sunday. But their camp is Chicago, even though this game is New Jersey. Early days, but great intensity for a pre-season. I like the professionalism, says Lee. Well, fair play to West Ham as well. They've played at a good intensity as well. Good play by Agarte into Rasmus. Out to Dorgu. Unrelated, Rashford once replied to you on X. I can't understand how Grok didn't include him in your top 10 profile views. Enjoy the game, bro. I just did that for a laugh. I don't think it's actually accurate anyway. Bruno looks sloppy. Need this gone before Arsenal, says Sadic. AstroTurf has had hazardous chemicals, says Keel. Cryptic says Bruno's passing's been awful as well. A few people getting on at Bruno's passing. Be playing FC career mode when releases, says Bailey. I think I always will give it a chance. I was disappointed with this year because I quite like the gameplay, but I've just got to turn sacking off, really. Yeah. Antonio is a Newcastle fan and thinks that Newcastle will finish below Manchester United. Interesting. And AY9KO says, what about Rasmus on loan to let him develop or just sell? I like Rasmus. I think he's had a rough 2 years, to be honest, with very little support. But we do need to buy a striker. Good play here by Mainu. Really good. Got through 2 tackles and just overhit it to Rasmus. Look, Rasmus has had 2 shots in the first 20 minutes. He'd be lucky to get that in 2 games last season. So Amrin will want big emphasis on pace and intensity, says Matt. And that's the good thing about having a lot of players. You know, if this team was tired, you've got Ahmad. No, Ahmad's playing right wing back, isn't he? Forgot about that. You've got Mount. Hopefully Mbeumo soon. We don't always control games, says Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. Lone Ranger, thanks for your super chat. He says, you think media will have less impact pressure on the team this season? Most performances will be seen as improvement compared to last season, says Lone Ranger. Bruno with a little flick there, straight into the keeper's arms. No. I mean, some of us old timers know how the media works. Man United are always the first story. Look, when I used to do my show at TalkSport on a Saturday night, obviously I was happy to talk about United as a United fan, but every producer I ever worked with, it was like, what can we talk about Man United? And I'd go, they haven't played this weekend. Yeah, but that's where we'll get the calls. So people always want to talk about Man United. I don't think many media outlets necessarily hate United. They just have to talk about United. And if you have to talk about something, then you're going to create agendas, aren't you? So we're never not going to get spoken about. Basically, the media are not going to be patient with United. They never will be. Hated, adored, never ignored. Do you think we'll get a striker? Love the video, says United TV. We need a bloody striker. Whether we'll get one or not, I don't know. We were talking about this before. They could easily say, you know what, we're actually really happy with what we've got. But we all know we were looking for a striker, so... But I want a goalkeeper as well. I'm greedy. Who scored, says Chubby? Bruno from a penalty. And it was a penalty. I mean, obviously it was a penalty. It was given, but it was a penalty anyway. Amrim not really giving anything away from the touchline. Are you tired, Mark? No. I used to work nights. I used to be a male stripper. That's where all my work was. This is where I came into pelvic move. Oh, it's around a cooling break now. Well timed. Yeah, I used to be a male stripper, so you know this is where I used to earn all my money. Big money as well. Big money. They couldn't get enough. But no, I wasn't a male stripper, by the way. Some that people will actually think that's true. No, I did used to work nights in a previous job. I do my Super Bowl stream every February. I love it. I think the hardest thing I ever did was the 24-hour stream after my mate died of cancer. I mean, it was hard because of that, obviously, but it was, you know, streaming for 24 hours. That's tough. That's tough. Anna T, thank you for being a member for 52 months. You're an absolute legend. Would you take Rodrigo from Real Madrid at striker, says Kenzo? Well, he's not really a striker, is he? Mario says, how are people watching on MUTV? I can only see commentary version. Let me just check my MUTV here. It might be a global thing. No, UK MUTV, you can watch the game. But MUTV is different. Interesting quote from Ruben Amrim here while we're having a drinks break. Ruben Amrim says, if I had started as manager at the beginning of this season, it would have been a mistake. So I think now we have to use all those mistakes we did in those 6 months to start in a different way. I'll try to use all the formations. You know, is that a sign of Amrim, you know, backing down? Because he said he wanted the job in the summer, and he's now saying that would have been a mistake. So basically saying that the Glazers and Ineos were right. Anyway, we're back up and running again now. Uh, 31,000 watching. Thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. How are people watching on MUTV? We did that from Mario. I think you must be in a different zone. Watty says, I heard United interested with Nunez 100. What's your favourite movie, Mark, says HJ? Heat. And it's a good summer movie as well. Need to see more Ahmad. Haven't seen Ahmad at all in this game, have we? He's just not. He's you know what? It's a great point. Ahmad is playing so deep. You look at where Bruno is. He's right wing at the moment. You've got Agate pushing forward with Mainu. Then there's Cunha, and Ahmad's basically playing up against that Diouf lad like a right back. Cooling break, 26 degrees here. That normal there. It says I'm powered by Honda. No, they shouldn't be getting a cooling break if it's not hot. Here's Cunha. Love the dribbling from Cunha. Reminds me of Moussa Dembele. That's from Spurs so much. Although he used to play a little bit deeper. Yeah, Ahmad's way too deep. He'll get pissed off in this system. Look at him. You can see him on the far side. It's just we're just not using the right-hand side. Here we go. No. It's a tough game for Ahmad as well because I think that's their new signing, isn't it? Here we go. Touch for Ahmad. That's what. Let's give it away. Well done, Delit. Well read. Right, here's Ahmad now. Come on. Look, a lot of you love Ahmad at right wing back. I can see it working, but I love him as a 10 because he gets on the ball more. No joke. Yoro's generational, says Bob. Well, you're not really inventing the wheel. You know, Yoro was sort of predicted to be. Good play by Agate. Cunha tackled. Generational. That's why Real Madrid were looking at him. Mark said to play Bruno at 10. Amrim clearly watches because he did that and we're playing better. Can you pick my lottery numbers, says Harry. I think we all prefer Bruno as a 10. Antonius Astra says Donnarumma would be mint. That's a good bit of defending by Ahmad. Yeah, we're not going to get Donnarumma, mate. I know we've been linked to him again by L'Equipe, but how's that going to work? Need to see more of Ahmad, says Steve Woodley. Looks like Mainu and Bruno are more interchanging early, but Mainu looks like he's the 8, says KMD. Yeah, definitely. Yashpal says, super proud to be part of this family for 60 months. Love from South Africa. Thank you, Yashpal. Joshua Charles says, hi, Mark. Went for a drink earlier, sipped and felt a sting, though. Thought just was my mates putting something in there. Turned out to be a wasp. A family member of mine drank a can of Fanta on holiday in France and there was a wasp in it. They ended up in hospital. The family member, not the wasp. That died. It got swallowed. Hi, Mark. Thank you very much. It's on Sky, says Dave. Agate is on fire, says Rob Always United. It is Bruno. Could have gone wide to Ahmad. Now it's into Yoro, who does use Ahmad. Into Bruno. Might have a shot. Yeah, knew he would. Dorgu seems very involved in the match. I like Ahmad right wing back, but it feels like a waste when we don't get him into the game, says Adzi. Bruno as a 10 is world class, says Manuel. Wasted as an 8. Yes, I agree with that, Manuel. What's the attendance today compared to the average of the Club World Cup, says Kelvin. I don't know what the attendance is. Ahmad did most damage last season. Get him up, says Robert. Yeah, I don't want to see Ahmad playing as a bloody right wing back. You know, if he's going to play on the right, we've got to get him forward. And the problem with that is if they opposite. The thing about Ahmad is, and you can see it in this game, is that if you play a team that's got a really attacking left winger, like West Ham have, look at the top of the field. You can't see him now. There is a West Ham winger. I think it's that Diouf, isn't it? And he's playing really high up on the attack, and that's pushing Ahmad back. So when we play teams that play with wingers high up the pitch, like, yeah, that's going to basically turn him into a bloody fullback. Would you take Southgate? No, Eggy. Member, thank you very much for 4 months. And Boomer did not come out or warm up, says Jimmy. This is the Agate we signed, says Ozza. No joggers today, Mark. They're running well. You think the diamond formation will come back? Says Naman. Got no idea what you're talking about. Agate's brought some stability in, says Notorious. Do you know why we've not shown interest in the goalkeeper Suzuki? You know what, Chiv? I don't know much about Suzuki. He's at Parma, isn't he? Apparently, he's not even that reliable. He's been booked, Giorro. I didn't know you could get booked in... Well, I suppose you can. That's a stupid... Didn't know you could get booked in pre-season. No, you can't. Oh, 2 foot, everybody. No, he's just holding on to the ball. He's been booked. Notorious says the wing-backs play higher than our 10s, though. Slow Cheetah says, would you have taken Pochettino? Cosmic Leopard says, big up Goldbridge fam. Thank you, pal. Coconut Lover says, as a Man United and Lazio fan from Australia, I have a feeling it'll be a hard watch this season for me. And Dean Reddy says, has there been any updates on Lamens, the goalkeeper? No, he's been asked about it, but nothing from United. Hopefully we'll get something done this week. Wan-Bissaka down the right-hand side, up against Dorgu. Interesting cross to the back post. Soucek had shifted there. De Ligt. And that'll go for goal kick. See what West Ham did there quite well. Wan-Bissaka hangs it up to the back post where Soucek is. That's been something that teams have exploited against us for many years now. Herrera or Agate, says Papa. I mean, at the moment, Herrera would be the better player, but hopefully Agate can turn into a good player for us. Scholes got suspended for a red card in pre-season, says Steve. I remember that vaguely, yeah. Hire says, Champers, Mark, we're cooking. I was meant to have a glass of Champers tonight, but I had a bit of an incident when I went out for a meal. It was a really nice meal, so I'm not going to slag off the pub. I have to be careful with like fried food, and the chips were just a little bit fatty. Loving the midnight community. Glad United turned up, says Ricky. Yes, let us know where you're watching from. Naman's just gifted 5 memberships. You're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much for that. Who the most underrated player post first Sir Alex is Robble? I'd go with Fred. That's not me. That's what Robble said. Corner United here. Bruno Fernandes is about to take it. Do Liam Lee. I don't know whether it's because it's a late Saturday night show, but we're not putting up with stuff like that. Wan-Bissaka outpacing Dorgu, says Scally. Cross comes in. Oh, it could have been a goal. I thought it was going to be a goal. Lenny Yoro. Or was it Mainu? I think Yoro's saying he had his shirt pulled, but yeah, I thought it was Yoro. I don't know why we're looking at Mainu on the camera. Yeah, it's Yoro who heads that just wide. The camera guy seemed to think it was Mainu, Pratt. Probably not used to watching football. Should have been a goal, really. Looked like it was harder to miss the target. What's the frequency? The shock. Who do you think will be the shock? Best signing of the season, says HJ. Well, you tell me. I mean, you can't say Wirtz is going to be a shock best player of the season when he's cost that amount of money. You're basically saying, who do you think is going to be the best value? I think João Pedro looks like being a very good signing. I mean, 50 million's not cheap, but I think he looks like he's going to be good. Frimpong, I agree. Another good name, yeah. I need to do a bit of research on Kudos at Spurs could be interesting. You've seen Gibbs White's now signed a new contract at Forest, which is good for Forest, but surprising. I mean, I'd love Cunha or Mbeumo as well, to be fair. Alanga at Newcastle. I mean, somebody somewhere has probably bought a player for 20 million and they'll be worth 100 million in 2 years. Lequeleg says, who are your predicted top four this season? 100% Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. Can you please reenact the conversation that went down when United asked Villa for Martinez on loan, says Paul. What do you mean reenact it? I mean, I think it would have gone something along the lines of, hello, is that Aston Villa? Yeah, United. How you doing? Martinez, do you want to give? Here we go. Ahmad. It's a lovely goal. He's been quiet. He's offside. Shit. I had a line ready there. I don't mean like that sort of line. I mean, I had a line ready there. It was going to be, you can keep him, you can't keep him quiet for long. Lovely finish. Great play by Agate. Really great play by Agate. And he's unlucky he didn't get an assist there. Fine margins. Norgard will be a stroke of genius for Arsenal, says Lee. That's if he can get any game time, I suppose. Gyökeres, without a doubt, will be a good signing. Yeah, there's a lot of players. It's just... I mean, look, the volume of players that have come into the Premier League, it's crazy, isn't it? How do you think we're doing, Mark? Says Andrew. I think it's been decent from United, really. I mean, what I would say about United, right, and I said this, look, we made a lot of changes in the second half, but in the first half, it wasn't great, but we didn't really, we didn't concede any chances, really, did we? So, again, I don't feel like we've conceded any chances here, and we've got the goal. Maybe that's how we're going to be this season. Yoro's our future captain, says Fujit. Well, or he's a future Real Madrid player. I mean, do you think he'll be here to be the captain? Do you think Amrin will let Cunha and Mbeumo take some set pieces, says Dean? Yeah, well, it can't all be Bruno. I tell you who's gone quiet. Rasmus. Good first 15 minutes. Well, chances. Very quiet since. Liverpool look like PSG when Messi, Neymar and Mbappe. Their defence is terrible and too many attacking. Man United might surprise lots of teams, says JB. Well, I bloody hope so, mate. I don't know whether I subscribe to that view, but I hope so. Late night Goldbridge, simply beautiful, says Wolfie Daisy Hill Ultras. Yusuf says, do you think Amrim's got the guts to bench Bruno if he doesn't suit the system? No. No. I don't. I don't see Bruno. I think Bruno's just so important. It's obviously so important. Gyökeres, without a doubt, would be the best signing, says Alex P. Fizzany, welcome to the Members Club. Thanks for getting your badge in. Can you see the progress throughout except Bruno, says Andy? I mean, Bruno seems to be getting a lot of stick here, but not really sure why. West Ham get the ball out to the left-hand side. MUTV is streaming in Nigeria. Congratulations to our Super Falcons for winning our 10th record women's AFCON. Yeah, I heard about that before, Effie. Well done. Wan-Bissaka puts the cross in. Good play by De Ligt as well. Mainu's pace and energy levels are worrying, says Bees. Well, let me know in the chat. I'll read some of these out. Who would you say has been the two standout players and two concerning players? I would say the two standout players for me, De Ligt's been really good, by the way. Probably De Ligt and Agate would be my two standout players. And two players not doing so well. I don't know, actually. I don't really know. Yoro's done well as well. De Ligt again. De Ligt's just a rock at the back. He's having a great game. Here's Ahmad getting into the game a little bit more. Into Bruno. Come on, move the ball quicker. Cunha into Dorgu. Thoughts on Amram allowing the outcast back into the squad? Love the channel. He won't do that, Eric. Your midnight streams are better than Babe Station, says Jay. Paul Murphy says, you owe me a reenactment of the Villa Martinez offer. The offside interrupted you. Paul, what are you obsessed about with this? Right, I'll do it really quickly, right? Hello, Aston Villa. It's Manchester United. We're interested in Martinez. Okay, well, you know, we don't really want to sell him, but we've got a price we're thinking of. What's your offer? Yeah, we'd like him on loan. Did you say you'll give us 20 million? No, loan. I think you meant to say you'll give us 40 million. No, we'll have him on loan. Yeah, bye, idiots. Whatever makes you happy, Paul. Do you think England women can beat Spain tomorrow? Says, let's give it a mod. No. No, I don't. De Ligt again. He just made about 3 big interceptions, De Ligt, in the last 5 minutes. Another corner for West Ham. This has always been a problem with the Graham Potter tide. They can't score goals. Ward-Prowse. Straight. Hey, wow, I'll tell you what, I nearly looked an idiot then. Half a chance for Soucek. Headed it straight at Bienda. A couple of minutes to go to half-time. He'd have been onside as well. He should have scored. Don't know who was tracking the runner there. Just tuned in. How are we playing, Mark? How are you in general, mate? Feel like no one ever asks. Well, they don't, Sam, actually. Thank you very much for that. I'm feeling okay. It's not. I like it when the pre-season gets up and running. Obviously, I'm still hopeful that we're going to do some transfer business, but ultimately, we support a football team. What do? They play football, so it's nice to get football back. Good play by Cunha here. Agate's been very good. He's overhit that ball. The thing about pre-season is as well is you just don't know. Amram didn't look very happy there, did he? There we go. Oh, he's giving a free kick. What are your thoughts on James Trafford to City? Pretty much the same as what I think about any City transfer. I don't know. I just don't find City very interesting. Looks like Yumlin is going to Juventus, says Bisson. Really? How have they afforded that? Great signing for Juventus. I thought he had a 70 million release clause. Can Bruno elevate Mainu playing together, says JB. I don't see Mainu getting into this team. Look, you can't pick 13 players. When Mbeumo's fit, he's got to play because he costs that much money. I mean, unless you're going to play Cunha or Mbeumo up front. I'd like to see Mainu and Agate be our midfield too, and Bruno play as a 10, but I don't think that's the way it's going to go. Antonia says, have you made an FPL team? Not yet, no. I will do. I always start it. Delit, the best a man can get. Gillette song, says Geeky Stuff. Anyway, to answer Sam's question, you asked how I was. I've answered that, but how are we playing? Okay. We're not getting the stats through, which is really annoying because I would just like to know the here we go. The stats are this. We've had 8 shots to 4. 2 on target to their 1. They've had 3 corners to our 1. They've had 58% possession to our 41% possession. They've had a better pass accuracy than us, and they've played more passes than us. I mean, that surprises me actually. So West Ham have played more passes than us, had a better pass accuracy than us. They've won more corners than us, and they've got better possession than us. We've had 2 shots on target to their 1, and obviously we're winning 1-0. I mean, quite an equal game, I suppose. Best pivot so far. The balance is there, says Sean. And that is half time. There we go. Give me your honest thoughts on that. My honest thoughts are Delit, fantastic. Agate, fantastic. Cunha, Yoro, Dorgu, very pleased with as well. Mainu, Ahmad, Heaven, Bruno, Rasmus. I'd probably like to see a little bit more out of them. But I don't think anybody's had a terrible game. And I think the intensity's been very, very good. I mean, it probably could be 1-1. We've got a penalty. Soucek missed the chance he should have scored. Ahmad was a little bit unlucky to be offside. But for a pre-season game, I'm relatively positive with that. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say we're ready. Because we're not ready. And I don't think we are going to be ready. But what we've got to do with what all Amrim can do is work with what he's got. And in that sense, I think we've got to try and get the best out of what we've got here, haven't we? And I think thus far, it's you can take positives and negatives, I suppose. We're gelling to the system much faster, says JB. Colin Bolger's gifted a membership. Let's give it a mod, says if it was a real Premier League match, you'd be happy. Yeah, you'd be 1-0 up. You'd be happy. And Mark, I'm 16, says Boomed, and my girlfriend of 2 years just broke up with me. What piece of advice would you give? Well, if you're only 16, plenty more years left in the tank. And highly unlikely that a girl that you were with from 14 is going to be the girl that you marry, as harsh as that is. So chalk it down as experience and move on, basically. Dorgu's been good. MOT, thank you very much. Also, you know, if you stayed with the girl from you both being 14 to 50, at some point you're going to go, I wonder what other interesting things there are I could have tried. Graham Potter sacked by November, says Swag. He's got a tough job. He's got a tough job, Potter. Mainu should be extended, loaned, sold with a buyback, says Inish. Can I get like, am I missing something here? Like, there seems to be quite a few people getting on Mainu's back, and whilst I think Agate played better, I felt that the midfield was better balanced. I'd like to see more from Mainu, but this is where I want to see him, in that position, and no, I don't think he was bad. I don't know. I don't think he was bad. Definitely Delit and Agate, says Jimmy. Best pivot so far, says Sean. Connor says, I've been really impressed with everyone so far. Agate and Mainu have been really good. Thank you, Connor, for that. And Ethan says, I think that's the best I've seen us play under Amrim, and I'm not messing. Yeah, it's hard when it's like that. Makato says it should be Mainu out and Coney in. A few people have, lots of praise coming in for Mainu, which is good now. A few people have spoken about Bruno. Look, Bruno's Bruno. You know, I think if you're assessing Bruno now, after all the years he's been at the football club, and saying things like his passing's erratic, where have you been for the last 5 years? His passing is erratic. It always will be. He's got a goal. And if Bruno plays as a number 10 every game next season, he will get goals and assists. He'll also misplace passes as well. I don't think it was a bad performance from Bruno. I saw some criticism there, but I don't think it was a bad performance from Bruno. I think certain players have stood out more, but I don't think it was a bad performance. I'm impressed with everybody, says Delroy. Thank you very much for that. And Dean says, do you think if Agate and Mainu had a run of games together in the midfield, they would hold down that position? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the plan is with our midfield. A lot of people in our community talk about it a lot. We do talk about it a lot. I don't even know what I'm locked in on at the moment. Sometimes I think it's a midfielder, sometimes I think it's a goalkeeper, and sometimes I think it's a striker. So I'm just going to stretch my back, actually. So it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I'd love to get Belieber. A lot of people talk about that. I'd love to get Adam Wharton. I'd love to get, an Edison, or I'll tell you what I'd love to get. I'd love to get the next Belieber. I'd love to get the next Adam Wharton, because they will be out there, and I don't understand why our scouts aren't very good at spotting these players coming through. So yeah, I hope that we can get a midfielder in, but I'd say a goalkeeper's more important. You know, when you're under the cosh and you have a bad game away to Brentford, or you're at Anfield, or you're at home to Arsenal, and they're peppering your goal, you're having a bad 10 minutes, that's where you need a goalkeeper to, step forward, be a leader and save shots. And I think that's still going to be a problem for us next season. Colin Bolger's gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks everybody who has subscribed. Do that bottom right-hand corner. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. On the road to 127,000. Thanks for the follows. Okay. What we got going on here? Do you think there'll be any changes at half time? Oh, well, I hope not. Amrim said he wasn't going to bring out a different team in the second half. And, that's the trouble with pre-season. You get 45 minutes like that. You really enjoy it. And Huz says United. You really enjoy it. And then they change the team at half-time, and you sort of say goodbye to any lessons because it's another team. Now, I know people have got to get minutes in their legs, but, that's the problem with pre-season. You can lose rhythm by making changes, and the opposition making changes, and can be a completely different game. Darian says, I thought Mainu was good. Class on the ball. This looks more like a positive style of play that I've seen under Amrin. Still need to make better decisions in the front three, but we've been fine elsewhere. Should I look into some more Peronis or call it, says Greg. Well, mate, got another half. Daniel says, I'm a tad worried we're still shooting from far out. And Kawika says, I like Agate and Mainoo, but Bruno won't be benched. So is our front three going to be Mbeumo, Bruno and Cunha? Says Kawika. It would be, I mean, look, we need to look at Mbeumo because it would be, in my opinion, an absolute farce to put Bruno, to put Cunha as a number 9. Like, he's so good at picking the ball up on the halfway line and, you know, driving forward with it, that I think it would be a crying shame to put him up front. Sigurder says, Mainoo hasn't been bad at all. The way the team is playing gives me more hope than I had before the game. And Goldstar says, Dorgu has had Todibo on a plate so far. Thank you very much for that. Mark, easy open passes that he's getting wrong in relation to Bruno, says Jimmy. Playing like this with a new striker and Mbeumo involved, it's finishing anywhere from 4th to 8th is possible, says JJM. Parker says, I think Mainoo and Agate looked incredible. Too bad we won't get to see it during the league because Bruno has to play there. People expect Mainoo to pull a rabbit out of a hat every time. It's unrealistic, says Ramazan. Keep Rasmus and sign an experienced striker he can learn from. He will come good in time, says the mystery man. And I wanted to talk about, there's a yawn. Oh, there's a yawn. It's about to hit 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. Let us know where you're watching from and what the time is. Dave the Brave says, I'm not happy with Ahmad at right wing back. He won't be happy either. Look, you've got to be really careful when you talk about this because there's a lot of people who love Ahmad playing at right wing back. But for the first 20 minutes, I don't think he touched the ball. He was barely in the game. I like Ahmad involved. And there's a lot of defensive work for him to do as well when he's not in the game. So, I don't know. Look, you can't say you don't like it because actually this is what Amrim at Sporting was all about. Wingers out wide. So somebody's got to do it. And it's better than Delo because Delo's a fullback. So we want to see wingers out wide, of course, but then it just takes a bit of getting used to, doesn't it? Marty says, the missus is due our first child the day we play Arsenal. She's keen to call him Theo, not after Walcott. Hope I don't miss the game, says Marty. Mate, this is the great thing about the internet. You can, I'm sure you can find a way. Better first touches and movements for sure, says SJW. Eric Sheridan's gifted 10 memberships, by the way. Absolute legend. Thank you very much, Eric. Thomas is a new member as well. And Sarath says, Rasmus is making runs off the last defender and not one player is playing that pass, which is really frustrating to see, says Sarath. I've seen Cunha attempt it. Hopefully he will attempt it more. Do you still have your Lego collection, Mark? Says Dean. I don't know whether I've got a great Jaws collection right there. I've got the ship. Yeah, I've still got it. Still got it. Connor says, I know we take the piss out of Lean FC and it's nothing to be excited about, but there's been a couple of times some of our players have absolutely flown past their back line. I don't believe in it because if it actually is a thing, then that means that we were unfit last year, which is disgusting, really. What changes at half time? I hope he doesn't. Mr. Xer says Ruben said he's changing the team in the 70th minute. Antonio says Agate is a good player, but to reach that ceiling, he has to improve with his passing and finish. Gold Star, thank you very much for your super chat. I found a Twitter account at Journalism Man Utd. They're good, says Nick. Okay, never heard of it. Ruben's great to see improvements and a better style, but we need to keep pushing for signings and not get too giddy. It's pre-season. We've been here before, says Al Nazar. Evening, Mark. Hope you're well. I hope the passing gets better, says Delusional Unicorn. I feel like Rasmus is still like being invisible, says Nat. Mohammed, welcome to the members club as well. Fact is, if we just bought Bruno for 100 million and 300k a week, we would be going batshit crazy, says Mr. Polford. Sheikh, thank you very much for being a member for 41 months. Does the team play better without Bruno? If the team plays better without him, the debate is over, says Daniel. And Zigorda, welcome to the members club. And John Delaney says, I've got to say, Rasmus has looked far more physically imposing than any time I can remember. Thank you very much for that, John. Would the Belgian goalkeeper Beth mentioned help us? Lemens, Al Nash. Well, I think he'd be better than Anana. There's a reason you bought 2 utility forwards, says Alex P. And would you take Hermansen from Leicester at goalkeeper, says Bisson. Thank you, pal. We've never been linked to him, so I mean, I'd take a lot of goalkeepers over the one that we've got. Players are coming out here. Doesn't look like there's any subs from United because all the subs like Delo and Mainu are coming back out to sit down. Collier too. If Rasmus gets his top 10, JB says, if Amorim gets his top 10 and wins either or both Carabao or FA Cup by the end of the season, I'm all in. JB, you're talking out your arse. I'm sorry. Like, what are you talking about? Either or both the cups. We're not winning both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. I mean, everybody takes it seriously now. It's not as easy as it was. Kez says, my missus is writing a song. What should it be about? Coffee. Amrim said, everyone drinks it. Imagine if you wrote a really good song about coffee. Amrim said he'll change whole team at 70 minutes, says Alex. Thank you very much. CF26 says, welcome back. I hope you and your family are doing great. God bless. Thanks, pal. Hope you're doing well too. Any updates on Xerxes, says Connor872. I don't know. I mean, Mazraoui's missing this game with a knock. Xerxes had a knock for the Leeds game a week ago and still has a knock now. He is back. Look, he's doing light training, so it's not like he's injured. But, I mean, I don't think he'll play Thursday, to be honest. It's 5 days away. I don't think he will, because if Mbumo, who's not injured, hasn't been put on the bench after 2 or 3 days training, then I can't see Xerxes being on the bench on Thursday if he's not even training with the first team yet. Hope you good, says Tom. You too. Oh, Sabrina Carpenter wrote a song about espresso already, says Cougars. Okay. Would you rather be the first man in the 1 versus 100 gorillas or be the last person in the Bonnie Blue 1000, says Michael. I think I'd rather have a go at the gorilla first, to be honest. Mr. J. Pang says it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I fancy a lasagna, Mark. Nat says Cunha is our striker at the moment. He better not be. Waving from the MetLife. Love the United stand, says Christine. Thank you, Christine. Hope you're doing well. Al Nash, welcome to the Members Club. Bruno puts the cross in, cleared away. Nurse says, I've seen Rasmus make loads of good runs and there's no passes going into him. Wan-Bissaka's had a good game for West Ham, you know. Nice ball into Cunha. This is where I like him. Into Rasmus and no one there. But then we'll pick up the ball again. Debating with my dad, is Bruno a United legend? Says Liam. Not for me. But I'm older than probably you are, so legend gets thrown around too easily. I mean, I can name you 20 legends who actually played in teams and, you know, played at a level very different to Bruno. But some younger people need to have legends, don't they? And in that sense, name me a better player for United in the last 10 years. So I think if you're younger, you want to. Ellie says, what does champers mean and what is it from? You know, it's just when I do Sir Jim Radcliffe, end of the day, you know, I just do it, end of the day. And then I just finish it off with, you know, because he's a billionaire, champers. So when I do an impression of Sir Jim, I just throw it in at the end. Here we go. Bruno's going to get his second goal. No, he's not. Ahmad. Over the bar from Mainu. Goes for a corner. I really did think Bruno was going to score there. Miguel's got a song about coffee in the morning as well, says D. Bush. Yeah, the defender makes a mistake. I don't think Bruno ever really got hold of that. He seemed to, yeah, he wasn't composed when he took the shot. He lost his balance, which meant that he couldn't get any height on it. Corner though. Cunha into Ahmad. Bruno with the cross. De Ligt with the header. Oh, I tell you what, it's a good header by De Ligt. Keeper's had to claw it away. Cunha. Still got this here. Bruno's got a lot of time to put a cross in. And again, goal kick. Rory C says, Karen Brady, Will Gregg, many others on Solihull Famous People Wiki. You know who else is there? Says Rory C. I don't know. Can't think. Mark, but Fred would be so good under this system, says Mr. Jones. But just stop talking about bloody McTominay and Fred and move on. If Ireland didn't have a GAR, how good do you think their football would be, says B? Well, you've always had GAA or GAR or whatever it is you call it, and hurling. You still went to the World Cup in 90 and 94 and were very good. So stop making excuses. The reality is Ireland's football team isn't very good because the Irish FA have done a shit job for 20 years. You've had good teams and periods in the past. Roy Keane, Irish, you know, Liam Brady. You've had good players. You've had good teams. It's not because you play bloody the game with sticks or GAA. Bezic says, United fans, I'm begging, please take Vlahovic from us. He's garbage. I presume you're a Juventus fan. Another corner for Man United here. Oh no, it's goal kick West Ham. My God, Areola, what is he doing there? Bruno. Goal. Lovely finish by Bruno. Areola is shit. I mean, you know, talk about tits, pair of tits. He's made a right pair of mistakes. It was lovely by Man United, but what? I mean, look. Is it good pressing by United? Yes, it is. Is it a very good finish by Bruno? Yes, it is. But what's the goalkeeper doing? Mainu into Bruno. I mean, the finish is brilliant. Lovely finish by Bruno. It is a lovely finish. Look at that. Right in the top corner. I mean, you're never saving that anyway. That's why he needs to play at number 10. This is why he needs to play at number 10. And everybody was criticising him at half-time. That's what I mean. He might misplace 4 or 5 passes, but in this second half, he's had a one-on-one where he should have scored, and then he's had another finish that was brilliant. And he's got 2 goals, and he could have had a hat-trick, all from number 10. This is why he needs to play at number 10. James says that finish is disrespectful. Do you think we'll sign a striker, says James Annette? I hope so, James. I really do. But, I mean, we need to. But, you know, you can never trust Man United when it comes to transfer business. See, mate, they were right. Bruno's lean now, says Jay. Have you watched the new Happy Gilmore? And if so, what are your thoughts, says Dark Boy? No, I haven't seen it yet. Chase says, we are looking okay in pre-season, but I'm worried about the rotation. With no Europe, how much time do Ahmad, Mainu, Delo or Xerxes get, says Chase. I think he's getting, you know what? I think you make a good point. Once, you know, everybody starts the season with the same number of games before the first international break. You play 3 Premier League games. I have a feeling we might play 4 because I think we've got to play a Carabao Cup game because of where we finished in the league. I think we've got to play a Carabao Cup game as well. So that will be a chance for people to play when normally they wouldn't. But yeah, there will be times where when we're not playing in Europe and we've got a whole week off. So you might be playing a Premier League game on the Saturday and your next game might not be till the following Sunday. How do people get game time if you're on the bench? So I think he's going to have to rotate a lot and use his subs a lot if he wants to carry a squad like that. Do you think United have changed their transfer strategy, Mark? Gio says, why you sat down? Because it's like 1:15 in the morning. Don't forget, we're back again on Thursday early hours. No, Friday early hours. 2:30 kickoff against Bournemouth. I'd say Bournemouth are probably... Goal kick. Bournemouth are probably the best team we're going to play. Cunha looking very sharp. This rumour that he doesn't work hard, that he walks everywhere is going to vanish very quickly, says Ethan. And 1 Inch Wonder says, it's harsh on Mazraoui and Martinez, but is this our best back 3? I'd say if Martinez was fit, he probably would dislodge Heaven at the moment. But I think Yoro and De Ligt have to be in it, don't you? Liam's dad here, says Martin Spellman. You're dead right. Bruno's not a legend. Watkins will be good for 60 minutes, then use Rasmus as a super sub, says JB. Callum says, how are you, Mark? What are we playing like? I'm at work and trying to follow along. Well, we're 2-0 up. I mean, both goals have been conceded from mistakes, but we've took them well. And mistakes happen. Most goals come from mistakes. So, look, West Ham have done... Well, I mean, Wan-Bissaka's done very well there. West Ham have done decent and they've given us a good game. But like any Graham Potter side, they struggle to create chances, don't they? It's 2-0. I don't know why I haven't changed the scoreline, because I'm not used to it. That's why. I'm not used to being responsible. There we go. Thanks to everyone who's watching. Make sure you give us a follow. And if you have subscribed, love that. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. Thanks for all your support. 2-0. Palmarius says, is this the first time these games have been on Sky? I think there was a summer series last year, but probably nobody watched it. Is this Amrim's team? I would say yes. 3 signings he has. Delit, Yoro, Agate suit the system. He refused to sell Bruno. That's 7 out of 11, says Rory C. We're definitely winning the league, says Kevin. This is the problem when you do a late night stream on a Saturday night. Some people are just pissed. I think Bruno should play in the 10 and replace Delo with Mbeumo this season, says Min. Bruno has to play as a 10. I mean, I'll be talking about it in the match reaction. He has to play as the number 10. But if Bruno's playing as a 10, you've got to ask the question. Bruno will start. So you've got Cunha, Xerxes, Mbeumo, Mount, and Ahmad. You've got 5 players for the other 1 position, maybe 2 if you put 1 at right wing back. We're very stacked. I don't think the plan was to play Bruno as a 10. I don't think we bought Mbeumo and Cunha, because he does like Xerxes and he does like Mount as well. So it's a lot of players. Oh, heaven, that was a little bit loose. And half a chance for West Ham, who've been a bit wasteful, really, over the bar there from Bowen. James Annette, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Right, load of United players warming up now. Probably going to come on in the next 10. Luke Shaw's there. What dirty website are you going on after this, says OTG? I'm going to bed. I'm going to do my match reaction. I'm going to bed, mate. We won't sign a player like Bruno again. Enjoy him, says MT90. James Annette, welcome. Thank you very much for your super chat. Legend. Lequail says, aside from the remaining exiled 4, who would be your priority to sell? So basically, who would I sell from the team that's on tour? Anana. That's got to be the one, hasn't it? Anana. Casemiro needs to go just because of his wage. So I think Anana and Casemiro are the 2. Good header there by Dorgu. Cunha into Bruno. Good interception. Oh, good interception by Cunha, and Ahmad does really well as well. Yoro. For me, Cunha, Ahmad 10, and Mbeumo right wing, interchange with Ahmad, says JB. We've got to put Bruno in the midfield then, mate. Are you going to continue with TUSFC, says James? I can't. I got sacked. I didn't get sacked because of bad results. I got sacked because the game's stupid. I was like in the playoffs in my first season and the objective's promotion, but I got sacked because I don't know why. The objectives are stupid. I should have just turned sacking off, really. Palmaria says the press looks a bit more cohesive, which is a good sign. Still early days, though. Ricky's just messaged me. He says, Bruno took... he won't mind. Bruno took that goal brilliantly, quality finish, but he's been the worst player on the field up to that. The main reason we can't keep possession. I don't know how difficult it is for people to get this, but we can't get anywhere with him playing regularly. Despite how many goals or assists he gets, we've got to play better. Every time he scores a goal in the long term, it's another nail in our coffin. Ricky. There we go. He'll be back for the new season. Oh, lovely goal. Lovely goal, Bowen. I tell you what, I think Heaven, I like Heaven, but I think tonight we've seen what he is, a work in progress. He isn't the finished article. He's looked a little bit rusty tonight, but not even rusty, it's just inexperience, isn't it? He's a kid. And Jared Bowen's a Premier League proven player, and I think he's just, if that was like Martinez or Luke Shaw, people would be going, that's not very good defending. I'm not going to say it's not good defending. He's just young. He's a young player who's got to learn the game. And this is what I always say about young players. You'll get some twat on social media saying Heaven's a bag of shit. But actually, it's just part of the learning process, isn't it? What I'd like to know is, and I might be able to go back to it, I'd like to know, I want to see the pass before it. So it starts with Todibo into the midfield. Soucek has, they've just bypassed the press. Look at this, there's no midfield. You know what? If you're a tactician, I don't need to wait till tomorrow to do little screenshots and everything like that. If you want statistical analysis, I'll give it you in seconds. That goal, okay, Aiden Heaven makes a mistake, but look at Soucek. He picks it up in the centre circle because they play through the press, and Agate and Mainu aren't there. You can't do that. If West Ham can play through our press, imagine what decent teams are going to do. Heaven's got to do better, 100%, but you've also got to look at the Soucek pass and go, why is everybody pressing for, well, like, we're going to make a load of subs now. Collier, Obi, Delo, Casemiro, Maguire, Shaw, Mount, Leon. Most of the team here. And it's another cooling break as well. Thanks for everybody who's tuning in. Absolute legends. We've just got a little bit of a break going on here. So I've had 65 minutes of the first team. I find that quite comforting, actually. Yeah, I'm quite happy about that because it means that we're getting to see more minutes from people. So lots of people coming off now. Maguire's the captain for the second half. Well, not for the second half, for the last 25 minutes. I don't know that... I don't think West Ham are making loads of subs. See, I always am quite intrigued by that. Man United have took most of their team off after 66 minutes, but West Ham and other teams don't do that. Or are they going to do that? Mark, what do you think is the biggest change Man United needs to make this season to get back to the top? So Danny Esther. Well, I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it this season. I think, but we definitely need a midfielder and a goalkeeper and a striker. I heard Amrin saying if we don't sell players at what the club's price tag, we will keep them. Surely that could be a toxic dressing room. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen, Mark. I think it's just more of a threat that we won't take cheap prices. Bowen is way too good for West Ham, says Robert McCormack. You did predict it before the game. I don't understand. I mean, look, Bowen is I don't know. Is Bowen like he's married to Danny Dyer's daughter, isn't he? And he's a big West Ham fan. So, but he could definitely play at a bigger club. You know, you could see him at someone like Villa, Spurs, Newcastle. I actually think Mateta would be good suit for our style, says Footy. Oh, God. I'm not guilty about yawning. I agree with Ricky about Bruno. You missed my super chat, says Jack. Sorry about that. Do you see Amrin playing Bayinda over Anana for the season? God, no. Lachlan, I don't think so. If you were God, says Rory C, who would you pick in this team, Keane or Van Nistelrooy? Mate, if I was God, I don't think I'd be thinking about Keane or Van Nistelrooy. I'd be doing better things than that. But in a footballing sense, Roy Keane in this team. Yeah. Hopefully Dorgu develops into Evra, says MOT. Bruno will play in midfield this season, says Andy. Yeah, and that concerns me. Who's been man of the match, says Fulham United? Well, you might give it Bruno for 2 goals, but one was a penalty and the other was a lovely finish. But overall game, I'd probably say De Ligt. I would have said Agate, but I've got to say, where was the midfield on the goal they scored? They've gone way too high. I'll have to mark him down for that, but... Why is Kone not on? Don't know. Good point, GPL. I thought he would have come on, to be fair. Notorious says Bruno wasn't in the 10 that possession, Mark. Kobe was the 10 and made the space deeper for Bruno to assess whether to shoot or pass into the box. Please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you, everybody. On YouTube, we're only 30 subscribers away from 127,000. So click that button in the bottom right-hand corner and subscribe. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone who's tuned in tonight. Nice to do a late night stream. It's really interesting though, isn't it? How we've made all these subs and West Ham haven't. Maybe we should be playing them longer. Dens says it's a shame no Kone. What did you have for your meal tonight? I tell you what, I had, oh, here we go. Treble substitution for West Ham. Paqueta's coming on. He might be about, apparently he could be getting a ban. Did he get the ban? Rory says, just a shout out to Mark. He looks swell all the time, but for me, +1 without the glasses. Mate, I can do shows without glasses, but the trouble is, I can't read the chat. So... I only wear glasses for streaming. If you see me out on the streets, you might not recognise me, but I wouldn't recognise you. But I just can't. I can't read. Oh, he got cleared. Paqueta got cleared. Thank you very much. He's free from a ban. Had a bad season last year though, didn't he? Maybe he was panicked by that. Good feet by OB. The pass ain't great. Get your eyes done for 6k. I don't know whether I can though. I don't know. I mentioned it a few years ago and they said you're better off wearing glasses. Can't believe Mason Mount wears the number 7. I like Mason Mount, and I hope he can stay fit. I just can't believe we gave him the number 7. I'd love to know what Pratt allowed that. I mean, whoever... Look, it might have been Ten Hag. It might have been Ten Hag. It might have been Murta. It might have been Arnold. But whoever did it had no idea about what Man United's all about, did they? If you started the window again, who would you get, says Jack? I mean, I don't know whether we could have got him, but João Pedro would have been a good shout because we weren't going to get Delap. But if we'd have gone early on João Pedro, we might have got him. Ham, pineapple, bit of hot sauce, or jalapenos, you know, says Bizen. Sir Jim will pay for your eye surgery so you can see more clearly what a good job Ineos is doing, says 1 Inch Wonders. Champers. Tommy HD says, being a United fan, I'd rather go blind. How do we get Mount back to his prime Chelsea level, says Lakale? He's got to stay fit. He's got to stay fit. Honestly, I don't see how Mason Mount gets in this team as well. I mean, that's not been discussed enough. Like, last year it was, can Mason Mount get fit? Now it's, can he get fit? And then how does he even get in the team? He needs to get fit and someone else needs to get injured. Will you do a review? I will do a live review on YouTube, yeah. Match reaction, yeah. It won't be massively long, but I will do one because I've took a few notes. So, do you think we need to sell first before purchasing a striker? Says Mark. Probably. Probably got to sell to buy. Here's Mount. Oh, just bullied off the ball there. That's crap. Should have played the pass instead of trying to... I mean, the thing about Mason Mount is that people forget is that actually at Chelsea he was a good player. I don't know how long he was a good player for, but there was times I watched him and I thought, you know, he's actually, give him credit, he actually is quite decent, but we just haven't seen it in a Man United shirt. I've got to say, I don't even know what he does well because we just haven't seen enough of him. He seems to have good energy, and he can get into dangerous positions, but he's got to get off the treatment table, which he is at the moment, in fairness. James 2002 UK says Paqueta has been cleared apparently. And Tommy's had ass for late night snack. God, you know when you read something and then you wish you hadn't read it? Has anybody watched Industry? It's hard to describe it really. There's 3 seasons of it. It's based in London and it's like young professionals who work in like finance. It's not like Succession, but I quite enjoy it. There's a lot of sex in it. And I was watching an episode the other night and they're getting off with each other and he actually says to her, do you mind if I eat your ass? And I thought, I don't... who puts that in a script? Been watching since the 2016-17 season when we won the Europa. Love the content. Keep it up. Also, when are you coming to Belfast again, says Jack? Yeah, I've got to do a show in Belfast. I owe a show in Belfast, so I will keep you updated. Thank you, Mark, for overnight. You're a legend, says JB. Well, what about all the people who do this all season? You know, they're the real legends, whether you're in the States, India, Australia, Indonesia. You know, there are people who get up all the time at this time and later. I've got front row seats to this game. Why has Mbeumo not seen the fields as Constantine? Because we bought him late. He hasn't had a pre-season and he's not ready yet. Hopefully he'll be ready on Thursday. Hi, Mark. If we want to press high, the midfield has to go up. I think there has to be a defender on Soucek, not a midfielder, says Michael. Good point. Good point. Quality's dropped since the sub, says I'm powered by Honda. Yeah, this is the thing I don't like about pre-season. It just becomes a convoy of subs in the last half an hour. And the rhythm goes. Rub says, just back from home, the movies with the lads. All I'm hearing is number 7. Booty Cool says, you are sleepy, Goldbridge. Mate, early hours of Friday morning, kickoff's not till 2:30. We won't have even kicked off yet. I was saying to Mrs. Goldbridge, she was like, what are you going to do? I said, I don't think it's a good idea to go to sleep before. I think I'm just going to have to push through. Alex P says, don't get laser surgery. The reflection from the scars in the back of your eye afterwards looks freakish. How long does it last though, Alex? Lewis says, Industry was filmed in my gaff. No sex though. Which one? Sig says, have you ever been to the Isle of Man? No. Tomo says, where do you think United will finish this season? I don't know at the moment. I don't know. I'm pitching as somewhere between 5th and 10th, but it really depends. Look, I know Liverpool are good. I know Chelsea are going to be good. Arsenal are going to be good. Man City are going to be good. What I don't know is how good Brighton, Newcastle, Spurs, Aston Villa, Forest are going to be. Because if those 5 are better than us, we're down to 9th or 10th. So that's how quickly it can change without even thinking about the Bournemouths and the Brentfords and everybody else and the Fulhams. Yeah. Black Wolf, I'm not answering that question. Talking about ass again. Nazim says, do you think Man United are going to sign a striker? I don't I hope we are, but I don't know. Would you normally be awake at this time on a Saturday night? Only if I'm getting up for a piss. That happens to you when you're older. No, sometimes I would, to be fair. If I was watching a good film. What normally happens is on a Saturday night, I'll put a film on at about 10 o'clock and I'll either fall asleep at about 11:15. But if I get through that, then I will probably watch it all. So if it's a long film, you know, yeah, we'll do a quick match reaction after this. We had a Rashford, here we go, didn't we, last time? During the game. But look, in summary, with 10 minutes to go, I don't think we're going to get a hell of a change in the last few minutes overall, because all the players have gotten off that we were interested in. But look, it's a win for Manchester United. It's a couple of goals. We didn't get anything against Leeds. If I was summarising it, I'd probably say job done. Name the band. Somebody will. What do you think of Mount, says Nazim? Delo's back at it again. Wizzer is apparently going to refuse to play for Brentford if he can't get his move, says LeCale. Thanks for all the comments today. Topaz says, nice, Mark remembered his password. Always nice. Never failed to be amazed by the size of the community. Really appreciate it. But yeah. I mean, look, I'm not. What I think is quite nice is that we've had a game where it's going to be very hard for people to say Amramat, change the system. That to me is always a positive, because we are trying to build something, no matter how difficult that's going to be. And you'd be hard pressed to be too negative, which is what I've been saying. Like, I think these... Oh, good save by Bienda there. I think that these are good games to play. Like, West Ham, Everton, Fiorentina, Bournemouth. As I said in the first half, it's not like some pre-season games we've had in the past where you're playing Barcelona and Liverpool, etc. So they're all very winnable games. We've got much deeper pockets, but also deeper squads. Dominican, thank you very much for your chat. But it's what you'd expect from pre-season, really. It's what you'd hope for from pre-season. It's not going to be brilliant, but is it progressive? Yes. He's picked a team for 65 minutes, which is good. It's a good workout. It's intense. I think both teams have got something out of it. Yes, we've got a win, but I still think there's work to do, and that's what you expect in pre-season. Wan-Bissaka's going to play 90 minutes. And Bowen. Swap Maguire and Delo. Harry Dino on the wing, says Anthony Tracy. Blip says next game is Thursday morning, not Friday morning. I thought it was Wednesday. I thought it was going into Friday morning. Have I got that wrong then? Oh, God, I'm going to be absolutely knackered at the end of the week. Yeah, it's on Thursday morning at 2:30, not Friday. Thanks for that. I'd have gone to bed on... No, I wouldn't. I'm doing too many streams before it. Here's West Ham on the attack. Good tackle by Maguire. Had to make it. And did. Edo says, sub for West Ham, number 68. Fear is on. Fear is on the pitch. Yeah, thanks for that, Blip. Teddy Share says, any patterns of play? Sporadic patterns of play. First team versus second team press. Reactive versus proactive, says Uriel. Robert McCormack says, I hate Ahmad at right wing back. I hate it. He's stifled. Listen to what Shadow373's had to say. He says, lucky goals, no production whatsoever up front. This is actually bothersome, not too negative. I would take the positives from the game, but there are not concerns, but there are realistic as well. Doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo. Okay. Still got 4 minutes to go. You know, somebody said to me, are you going to do a watch-along for the Lionesses against Spain tomorrow night? And I said, no. I'm going to watch it, but I wouldn't do a watch-along of it. And they were like, why? And I said, because have you actually ever watched my content? I will sit and say, what a shit pass. What a rubbish shot that was. What's the goalkeeper doing? And I do that with men's football. If I watch a match like I normally do for women's football, I'll get bloody cancelled, won't I? They'll be like, oh, he's just being horrible. When actually, I'm just doing what I normally do. Lou says, I just hate the system completely. Ooh, Mount could have been in then. We had a 2v1. The second string team seem like a bunch of misfits thrown together. They are struggling in midfield and the front. What is Fletcher's son doing here? Says Lee Cape Town. I think both Fletcher lads are prospects, but you know, it's I think it's always great to see some of the younger players on the tour, but I did say it, and I normally am somebody that gets really excited about the younger players getting a chance in the first team, but I've got to be honest, this season's so important. I'd rather we were doing what West Ham did and, you know, 4 or 5 players playing 90 minutes. Like, Wan-Bissaka's played 90 minutes, hasn't he? Jared Bowen's played 90 minutes. I'm not really that interested in giving people minutes who aren't going to be part of the team. I'd rather just get on with building rhythm. And that's why I was pleased that Amorim did play a team for 65 minutes. And I'm sure we'll see that again on Thursday. Can you give a shout out, says Nazim, to my brother Amin? He is a big fan of Man United in your channel. Yeah, shout out Amin. Hope you're doing well. Midfield is a joke. 6 and an 8 is needed badly, says CK. Mark, you're a legend. I'm a teacher and all the kids supporting the likes of Man City, Chelsea. Very few want to support Man United. It's scary now, says Paul. You can't blame them though, can you? I mean, look. Seb can't stand Man City and Liverpool, but that's because, you know, he's got United sort of all around him, but you know what kids are like. They'll go and support what they find interesting. This Leon guy looks good, says Ronan. James says, why do you think there still is such a consistent use of this hopeless long ball? I don't know. I think it's IQ again, isn't it? Has to be IQ. IQ. Kaz says, off topic, Batman or Superman? Batman for me. Yeah, it has to be IQ. I mean, there aren't many teams in the Premier League that are pinging 50-yard diagonals these days. And I've got to be honest. This second string 11 or whatever you want to call it, it's hard to get going, isn't it? In like 20 minutes, but George says, Americans singing We Want Glazers Out. I hope they are. Keystone says, United need to scare teams again. 5 defenders, 2 holding midfielders and no wingers. That's not evolution, it's regression. Ahmed's caged at right wing back, says Keystone. Look, Amorim's style of football is meant to be good, and I'm sure it can be. And I think if you put Ahmed at right wing back, then that's meant to be progressive and attacking, but I don't know what style we're going to see from United this season. Is it going to be, let's be, you know, a counter-attacking team, or is it going to be on the front foot? Did you see that Wrexham went in for Eriksen, says Payne? No. I tell you what, I think Christian Eriksen would struggle to play 46 games in the Championship. I don't know that that's a great idea. Jamie says he thinks that the second team have been good. Oh, West Ham breaking away here. Got a 3v2. It's a lovely pass into Bowen. Got a lot to do. Good save by Yunda. Goes for a corner. ZVS says, where is Xerxes? He's got a bit of a knock. Pyro says, go to bed, Mark. I'm fine. I'll be in bed in about half an hour. Do the match reaction and that's it. Binder claims it. That should be about it for this game. 93 minutes. Mitesh says we need Trincao, Inacho and Younglan. All from Sporting. Zigor says, if Sebs can't stand Man City, that's proper parenting. That's on Shaw, says United TX. I genuinely don't think Luke Shaw has looked good since he came back from injury. There's no doubt I thought he was a fantastic player at one time, but he's yet to regain that form. Is there going to be one more chance for an attack here? It looks like it'll be West Ham. Rory says, looking at the numbers, to compete with second, fifth, we need 25 goals and 10 goals conceded less. 2 signings don't get us there. Rub says, is Xavi Simons to Chelsea done? I think so. Dean says, Watkins started tonight and put Villa ahead, and what's your thoughts of Perry from Lyon joining Leeds for 15 million? I don't really know much about him really, Dean. I mean, look, whether Watkins is coming to United or not, he's obviously going to play games for Villa because he wouldn't be playing for Man United anyway for about 5 weeks. Where's Amas these days, Riley? I think he's heading on loan. There we go. Final whistle. United have beaten West Ham 2-1. There were moments. The cameras will go to Bruno. He wasn't my man of the match. I'll tell you my man of the match on the match reaction. But look, the second goal was very good. First goal was a penalty. Mitish says it ain't going to happen, but I don't know why we need to go for sporting players. Surely that's why we don't go to sporting players. Surely that's the most sensible thing to do, as they know Amrim's system. Yes. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Got a match reaction coming up on YouTube. We'll do that. I'll see you over there in a couple of minutes' time. And we're obviously back here for the Bournemouth game in the early hours of Thursday morning, not Friday morning. It's a 2:30 UK time in the morning kickoff on Thursday. Thanks for that. Get me words out. I am starting to get a bit tired. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all on the next one. Take care. Join me over. Well, I'll push you over there now in the live chat. We'll be on the match reaction in a couple of minutes and go through that. A couple of big things I want to say that I think are worth saying.